Alrighty guys, how's it going? How are we doing? Welcome to another 6 out of 10 podcast. This is episode 12, can you guys believe? We're filming it live. We're filming it live? I don't know if we can ever class this as film. We're broadcasting this live. Recording it live maybe over on twitch.tv, but welcome to you guys who are watching us through YouTube or listening through iTunes or SoundCloud or any one of those many great memes. And thank you to you guys who are doing the Patreon and supporting us. Actually, get the broadcast together and get it out. It's good fun. I am, as always, joined by, and I'm gonna leave out the W word because everybody always tells me off for the W word. Sam, how you doing, darling? How's it going?
I'm here, I'm alive, I'm the thing. It's the word that you were looking for, wanktastic, because I feel that that's perhaps the more apt terminology.
Potentially. Alright, so this week we've got somebody who, again, I can say is wonderful.
Wanktastic.
Am I bringing you in as wanktastic, Matt? Is that what you would like?
Sure.
Wonderful. Yep. Matt Sparks, welcome on in. New affiliate too. Affiliate. Getting used to doing content on a regular. Explain to these lovely fine folks who you are and what it is you do and where people can find you and all that kind of good stuff. God damn it. You guys are the
confident.
I'm Daddy Sparks.
No, you're not! Do not!
Matt Sparks, that's fine too. Or just Matt, that's fine too. Any of those things is good. I used to do a lot of YouTube a few years ago, and then I realised that YouTube was not being that helpful for gaming content creators. Took a bit of a break, and then now I've started streaming on the old Twitch. Recently got my affiliate, and I do variety stuff. I've been doing some Fortnite, some Civ 5, and we do 9 till 12 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings UK time. So feel free to pop in and have some breakfast or something with me one day. That'd be cool.
How romantic! I mean, that's we need to set a date, darling. That's just
It is.
what we're gonna have to do.
It's super nice, isn't it? You sit down, you have breakfast together, and have little chats and little gameplays and.
Occasionally, I'll do a little cheeky Sunday stream. Occasionally.
I say.
Oh,
yeah.
Goodness. Already.
The last one was really good. We were doing a lot of talking about movies and stuff other than because normally we're talking about video games and stuff like that. So I'm quite into my movies. So every so often we do a little cheeky Sunday stream. We look at trailers for movies and talk about films that we've seen and what we're looking forward to and stuff. It was cool. It was good.
Neat.
Scrapbooking and other wholesome pursuits. Got it. Cool. Sounds great. Right. So for those that don't know what we do here and why we're 2 hours earlier than usual is because we're normally live at 5 p.m. Englando time, but a little bit early today due to speed running breakfast. What we do a podcast every week that goes through the gaming news of that week. Bring on lovely guests to talk around the subject as well and talk about some more sort of in-depth topics as well, and hopefully give you some interesting content for your eyes. So without further ado, I suppose we should probably roll on through to the first of our topics for this week.
Yep.
And the first of our topics this week is pretty much entirely within Pip's domain insofar, literally the title of the topic is "It's a cat game."
You can tell that I wrote a lot of this week's sheet because, as we say, the sheet this week begins with "It's a cat game." So, if you guys have ever heard of Deadly Premonition or Dark Dreams Don't Die, so D4, these particularly kind of imagery-heavy thriller games with a very sort of deep, dark undertone and weird shifts in narrative to fit that whole kind of dark theme.
As cats do, that's normal, yeah. I'm with you so far.
Well, I mean, that's been the case for, as I say, Deadly Premonition and Dark Dreams Don't Die. So from the career of those, from Swery himself, we're getting a cat game. called The Good Life, and I'm really confused. I'm really confused as to how this is gonna work, because apparently it's gonna inherit the spirit of Deadly Premonition and D4.
I mean, like, I wasn't sure, like, because it could have gone one of two ways, right? It could either be literally, I'm sick and tired of doing really weird stuff. I just want to make a nice game about cats that get tummy rubs. But like, it's actually taking what? I mean, how sinister and otherworldly can a cat be? I've known several in my time, and none of them have shown any like directly murderous intentions or inspired some kind of psychological thriller. Like, I'll be quite honest about that.
It just...
Cats do look like they're trying to plot your demise a lot of the time.
Yeah, but they're usually not.
Well,
but yeah, this game is about townspeople who during the day are regular townspeople, and then night falls and they become cats. And you go around the town and do
cat stuff.
daily life RPG mystery game thing. Right, I for one am fully it comes as zero surprise to anybody who knows me. I am 1000% behind this game. We've got themes carrying on from twisted dark nonsense. We have daily life RPG, which is my kind of bag. We have cats, which is my kind of bag. And we have like thrillery, investigatey kind of deal. Matt, please tell me this is your kind of deal as well. Oh no. Am I on my own in this?
I mean, if you're streaming, I'll watch you stream it. But
we're gonna stream the hell out of this. There's no two ways about it. We are streaming the hell out of this.
Yeah, because I think you'd probably enjoy it more than I would, and I'd probably enjoy watching you play it more than I would enjoy playing it myself. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sam, this is Persona, but grim and cat gamey. Come on.
I mean, if you put it like that.
Yeah.
No, I can
go
see
there.
you playing around with it. Deadly Premonition I didn't quite get. I tried it. It didn't. And it was more like the story was alright. It was just the game mechanics, like the shooting of stuff and whatever else, and it was just kind of a bit wank, and I didn't really enjoy that. I think if I could have played if I could have just absorbed the story and the weirdness, I probably could have enjoyed that. But like the combat was poo. I still need to play D4 at some point. But I don't know. I'm on board with it. I like the kind of weird concept. I'm always pleased to play as a cat, or even interact with a cat. The most heart-stopping, heart-wrenching, upsetting part of any given game is when they have a cat in it that you cannot pet.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. Or any animal for that matter.
Yeah.
It's Breath of the Wild is miserable because you can't pet any of the doggos.
There was one Assassin's Creed game where you could do that, and then they didn't put it in any of the others, and I was so sad because I'm trying to play through Unity at the moment. I'm trying really hard to play through Unity.
Is that why you're really struggling with it?
And it's like, there's a dog. Can't interact with it in any way. I was like, but why?
Skyrim, you can walk up to a dog and it's like really happily barking at you and interacting with the fact that you're there, and you're just there like, yeah.
Well, no, like Breath of the Wild does the same. And like, if you run in little circles, sometimes the dog will then chase its tail. But if you throw a stick, the dog just goes at
It's
you.
upsetting.
Like, no.
This game is the counterbalance that every game needs. The lack of petting in other games is counterbalanced by the existence of this one.
I hope so.
And if it doesn't live up to that standard, then it's a 0 out of 10 from me.
I forget which Assassin's Creed. I think it was Black Flag that you could do it. I think.
Pirates
is
and
obviously
cats, I can see it.
the best Assassin's Creed game anyway. But I think it was that one. And if it is that one, then that secures it as being the best Assassin's Creed. I mean, as far as The Good Life is concerned, the art looks kind of neat from the very limited amount that I've seen.
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of some really old kind of 80s kids kind of film cartoon things. Which is kind of
see that.
But yeah, until I see a bit more of it, it's going to be kind of difficult to judge as to. It's probably not going to be something that I play, because becoming a cat is not something that I've ever thought. Just know what I want from a video.
We were friends. I thought we were friends.
Is that it?
I wonder if you can pet another cat as a cat. You can do that.
Maya bops Eddie on the head a lot, but I feel that's not her being nice. I don't.
If you can do that, it's literally game of the year.
I mean, I'll be honest. I am more of a dog person than I am a cat person.
Oh, that's fine.
If it was become a dog, enjoy
acceptable.
I might have been a bit more like, but yeah.
But dogs are boring. When you're a cat, you can nap in a piece of sunshine all day.
Dogs do that too.
Why would you not want to do that? Right, but dogs have more stuff to do than cats. Cats are just like, yeah, I'm a nap today.
Dogs also have to get overexcited about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that old meme with the diary entries, right? Where the cat is like, day 683 and the human still keeps me here. I wish for freedom. And the dog's like, I saw a tree! Today was the best day! There's also another dog! Today was very much the best day and that was the best dog.
I'd much rather have that, to be honest.
I don't have enough energy to keep up with that amount of excitement. I feel I can reach the energy level required to be a chill fucking cat, just strolling about the place doing some light RPG elements. Whereas a dog tearing about the place and like trying to climb every building and backflip and take a piss on everything to let people know that you've been there, it's a little much for me. It's just it's a little too much effort.
Don't forget, you have to chase everything that moves ever.
Yep.
Even if it's only for like 5 steps, and then you decide to let it go because you are the better doggo. You know, you do have to chase. No, I'm gonna be honest. The thing that intrigues me most about this is that it's a daily life RPG, and I feel we don't get enough of those. I feel like Persona always does a really good job of those, but I don't feel like we get enough good ones.
But even like Persona, it doesn't do daily life. It just splits stuff up into days, and there's elements of daily life into it, but like,
right,
it's not you can choose entirely what you want to do with your day. And I understand this needs to be an overriding quest line to pull you through the game and whatever else, like you don't have quite as much freedom of choice that I would assign to that kind of game, you know?
Right. Because we were talking, I'm sure, last episode about dating simulators and the fact that... Oh, no, it wasn't. It was super recently. We were talking about daddy dating game. His name I've forgotten.
Dream Daddy?
Dream Daddy, there you go. And I was kind of like, this is really straightforward and I'm not really all that into this. Some of the writing is nice, but I'm not really into this. And I kind of miss the old Flash games where you had to go to school and swim to be strong and also keep up with your exams and also buy your girlfriend presents and take her on good dates and also deal with the weird anime fairy that lived in your bedroom. And I kind of miss those sorts of daily life RPGs, and I wish we saw more of that, and I'm kind of hoping that we'll see more of that now with this sort of thing coming forward, and I hope that kind of genre almost starts to take a step forward again. Honey Pop?
Well,
somebody said about Honey Pop, but Honey Pop is just a match 3.
There's the new Shark Dating Simulator, XL.
What?
You didn't suggest it was the topic.
Shark Dating Simulator is 79.
Yes. Yeah, no.
79 pence.
Well, I know what I'm doing later on today.
It's just sharks with like wigs and like little bows and stuff. Why?
I've got that'll be me later on with a bottle of wine. I think that's going to be my evening.
Meanwhile,
living out a slightly esoteric Mills and Boon novel. Lovely.
Meanwhile, somebody's reminded me of Honey Pop, so I'm not getting any sleep for the next 2 days. That's why I'm just going to play Honey Pop endlessly until my eyes... Yeah.
How's everybody? Anyway, the only reason that I'm intrigued by this is because of who's making it. Like, if we're being entirely honest, right, cats are cool and whatever else, and yes, that's great. But like, the person, Swery is cool.
Yeah.
And makes cool things. I can appreciate that, even though I didn't directly enjoy Deadly Premonition that much. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes and how stylish it is.
Yeah.
Because it's good stylish, because of course it is.
Of course it is.
It's a given. Right. So let's roll on and bring back one of our regular points of discussion.
We're always talking about these guys, I swear.
Which is Blizzard in its continuing saga of senility, having gone from Battle.net as the name of their app on PC for grabbing all the games with, going to the Blizzard app, and then kind of saying that, oh yeah, we're talking about the Battle.net app again, some kind of con, and then they've now gone and called it the Blizzard Battle.net app. Why? Stop! No! Like, you have this is the part I don't understand about this. You have all of your fucking games on it. They're there. You open the app. They're there on the left-hand side. So if someone's going, oh, fuck my tits off, I need to play Destiny 2. I just on PC. Hold me back, lads, because I'm going to play Destiny 2 on PC. The only place they can get that is on the Battle Blizzard.net app, Blizzard app, Battle World of Warcraft, Battle Overwatch app, Blizzard.net, right? So they're going to get that, and then they have marketing. They literally have the means with which to go, and here's another game, and here's the other game, and here's the other game, and here's the other game, and there's that game as well. They don't need to promote the name of the app. They don't need that app to be like renowned, because once you've been pulled in by one game, you're pulled in by a million others. Steam don't have Steam.com as their place to go and get the Steam app. It's steampowered.com, but the app is called Steam. It doesn't really matter that deeply much. It's just
I think it's just everything. Yeah, I think it's just branding, isn't it? They just want everything to have Blizzard on it.
Like consistent. Everything needs to be consistent, right?
Yeah, and I think because they were going to originally call it the Blizzard app, and I think once everyone just went, oh, but it's been Battle.net for ages, they probably went, well, let's compromise then. So let's just call it the Blizzard Battle.net, like there's any other. But
make a decision, stick to it, and have some fucking balls about it. That's all I'm asking for. The name of the app doesn't fucking matter in the first instance, anyway. If you want to make them all synergize and look the same across, then that's fine, and that's your purview and whatever else. So do it and stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, the people that already have it and the people that already play Blizzard games on their PC, it's not going to make the slightest bit of difference to them at all. This is the only reason I can see that they've changed this is for the console players who played Destiny previously coming over to PC and playing Destiny 2 on PC. And I think it's literally that's the only reason. And because there's a possibility of obviously them having more games on there than just their original Blizzard ones. Now that they're having Destiny 2,
they said that they've already said that this is the exception, singular. I mean, obviously they can backtrack on that, but they've already based
and they will, but because that's what Blizzard does.
No, it's true.
They always go, if there's a demand for it, and if they think they can make money out of it, then why wouldn't they? If Blizzard and Activision, you could end up seeing a Call of Duty game on there.
I think it's mad that they don't already. Honestly, you have a storefront owned by your company. Fucking use it.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense not to. I have it on Steam as well, and you would have to have it so that the servers communicate with each other between Steam and.
Or you could do it like the Uplay stuff. Like when you play Assassin's Creed, you buy it on Steam.
Yeah.
On Steam, and then it comes up on Uplay, and then you end up launching it through Uplay anyway. So they do just the same thing with that.
And I tell this story every time, and it makes me infinitely happy. The fact that you could buy Titanfall, the original one, on Uplay for 10. It was either 10 or 15 quid more than it was on Origin. So you could literally use the worst launcher app to purchase the game over the odds, so it would then launch the second worst launcher app in order to launch the game. I just think that's the most beautiful and wonderful thing that I've ever heard. It just made me it actually made me do a spit take when I saw it. It was the best.
So as far as I'm concerned, I think that's probably their reasoning. It's probably the higher ups have said, we want to have Blizzard on everything, so that when these console players come over to PC, they can see, Blizzard is on it, and they can see all the other Blizzard games that maybe they hadn't heard of or hadn't played before, and they've got them all there, and they can just click install or buy or whatever, and makes it a lot easier. So hopefully for them, they'll probably be thinking, right, we'll get these people in playing Destiny 2, and maybe when the servers of Destiny 2 go down, they've got all these other Blizzard games on their launcher that they see that are there, and go, well, maybe I'll try that.
And I'm with you, but in order to get that app, they've been brought there by a game. No one ever goes, oh, Battle.net, what's this mystical thing? Let's download it for a laugh. Like they do it. There's a game that brings them to that destination,
right?
Yeah. And once they've been brought to that destination, they have all of those games and all of those other lures to every other thing and whatever else. The name on the front cover doesn't fucking matter. It could be called Wank Stick Online, and it doesn't fucking matter because they've already got all of those games.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? They've still got that list of games on the left-hand side to download.
To make a real a real statement, just for a second.
A real statement.
A real statement. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are considering naming a marketplace right now, in this moment in time, please, for the love of God, don't name your marketplace or your launcher or your services, whatever it is. Don't name it Wank Stick.
Online.
Online.
Otherwise, people might be confused and think it was a local client. You don't want people to be confused now in this modern market.
Oh, is that why the .net exists? Yeah, to remind us that we are actually allowed to play with our friends who aren't sat right next to us.
I mean, it does almost sound like a badly translated Korean MMO or something, doesn't it? Welcome to Wankstick Online.
No! Next! Next! I'm done! Next!
If you people aren't putting money into that as a project, I just want to my point is, you've arrived at the location, you've already got all of your games there, you've been brought there by a game in the first place, you don't need to give a toss about what name on the company.
If it stayed as Battle.net, it probably wouldn't have made it a slight bit of difference.
No, and the people that were bitching about it being Blizzard app, I presume that they changed it because of pressure by people going, it's not Battle.net anymore. How could I possibly find it on my PC? Those people are playing whatever game religiously.
I agree. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what it's called. Whether it's called the Blizzard app, the Blizzard Battle.net, like it doesn't matter what it's called. So, like people that get.
They've spent money on changing it twice now, and that just makes me feel slightly nauseous because it's probably not a tenner. You know what I mean? They didn't commission some poor bastard online to change the logo for a tenner.
But then, Blizzard are probably in a situation where they've got more money than they know what to do with right now. So
give it to me. I'll bring you such great hits as Wank Stick Online.
Please don't ever hire him to bring you Wank Stick Online. You don't want Sam to bring you Wank Stick Online.
Well, I think we've discovered what the name of this podcast is going to be already.
I peaked early, haven't I? Right, and moving on.
Oh God, why have I done this to myself on today of all days? Why?
What, have me on the podcast?
Just the two of you together are a nightmare, and I knew this was going to happen the second that I went, we could have Matt on the podcast.
It's just a serious podcast with us conveying some very important information, I'll have you know.
Whenever Sam and Matt are in the same space, getting them to converse outside of giggles is the most difficult thing humanly possible. There we go, he's broken already.
The start of this podcast, right? So Pip kind of gave us the count. She was like, "We're literally going to start in like a second now," and that was it. Like Matt had lost his shit, like just before we started, and she's kind of giving him the stern look, going, "We need to start podcast now."
Literally, all I could see was him, like with this stupid giant grin on his face, hiding at the bottom of the screen, and I'm like, I need to count us in. Like, can you settle, please? So I'd see him go, and then he'd fall apart again.
Just breathing through the birthing pains almost.
It's horrendous, and I'm just trying to. Should we talk about We Happy Few? We Happy Few,
or as it's also known, We Happy Few. Jesus Christ, that price increase! Because why is this the new trend? Why are you doing this, you absolute gaggle of cunts?
No. So, I'm going to stop you there. You're not qualified to talk about this one, whereas I am.
Right, okay.
Because we've had this argument before, I feel. And it's all to do with the fact that I don't really know where I stand on We Happy Few right now. But I'm so glad that they've gone back to the drawing board. They've taken the entire game and gone, what we made wasn't what we showed at E3, and it was naff. Let's try again. And that's why there's a price increase, because they've changed the way that the game works. They've changed the way that the mechanics work. They've changed the way, as far as I understand, that the story works. They've rewritten a ton of stuff. They're no longer focusing on this sort of roguelite thing. They're making it a more sort of compelling narrative experience, and they're trying to get $60 worth of content into the game rather than it be a $30 this is the story, you can follow it along, but if you die then you start the whole thing again, and it's a really sort of shallow experience. It's naggy and all this sort of thing. Like, genuinely, it drew on some of the worst roguelite elements that exist. This game is getting a major overhaul, and they need to fund that somehow, because this is no longer the game that they kickstarted. This is no longer the game that they sold early access things of, and they need to make that money back. And that's why. The other thing is they're hoping to justify, and I don't know whether they will. Honestly, I don't know whether they will, but they are trying to make a $60 worth of content to package up and sell next year.
Right.
And I honestly hope they do it. Selling it at $30 isn't going to cover that anymore. It isn't going to cover all of this extra work that they've had to put in to make the game what they want it to be. And it's also, hopefully, going to be justified in the story and the way that the mechanics work and things. That's why it's had a price increase. So none of this, you're a gaggle of cunts business. This is them not saying, we released an expansion, we released the entire game, and now that you're all tired of it, we're going to put the price up through the roof. This is them saying, we've got a lot more work to do. We're trying our damnedest. We need to recoup those funds somehow, and we're going to do it by balancing putting enough content in the game and putting the price up. Yeah?
No, I still disagree. So, yes, they're on a larger scale. Yes, they've got more money overall. And yes, whatever else. Final Fantasy 14 and 15. Final Fantasy 14 1.0 was shit. They completely ripped up the whole thing and redid it and rejiggered it and everything else. That's to purchase the game as an outright purchase is cheaper than most other MMO games. The price for subscriptions is cheaper than most other MMO games. They didn't put anything up based around having to literally turf up the entire game and start from scratch. Final Fantasy 15 is just a standard AAA priced game. They didn't put it up to £120 when they had to completely redo the project over the course of 10 years. Yes, they've got a lot of heritage to go through, and yes, the game ultimately was absolute toss, but they didn't go back and go, oh, actually, it cost us a fair bit more to make it. We need to do that. What I think they really should have done is shined up We Happy Few and got it through its early access process as best as they could for how it came through, and gone, right, we've learned a lot of lessons. We didn't make it as good as we could, and we didn't fill out the entirety of the scope that we were originally aiming for. We Happy Few 2 is coming out, and we're going to make We Happy Few 2, but people that already own We Happy Few 1 from X date will get X discount against the price of the next game. They need because the thing is, right, I'm going to put throw my cards down now and say We Happy Few will still be shite when it's finished at that point in time. I have never known of any project that has successfully been kind of remade from a point rather than completely overhauled.
You played one of them. 14.
14 was backed by like ridiculous amounts of extra money, and
which is why they didn't put the price up, Sam.
But what?
So that entirely negates your first part of that argument. You're looking at a game from a major publishing studio versus
I wouldn't say major publishing studio.
Square Enix are pretty. They're definitely up there.
Yes.
They're not Ubisoft EA, but they're up there.
Saying Gearbox isn't a major.
No. This is what I'm saying. That 14 had a major publisher behind it, so they didn't need to put the price up to cover the excess funds, right? Gearbox, who have only just picked up this project, probably looked at it and went, "Sons, that's a lot of work." Like, I don't think it's going to be accessible, and I just don't see it becoming of worth. The core idea is fantastic. I love the idea of the story and the universe, and I really do.
Yeah, but if that's getting rewritten, you might not when it's finished.
That's the bit that's staying the same. The setting and everything is staying the same.
I just don't see them pulling it off, in all honesty, and I don't see them justifying the higher price because they've given themselves a shorter span of time to create twice as much content.
So, when's the release date? When are they expecting a release date for this?
Next year.
So it's already been out in early access for 2 years. After it says on this article, after spending
is it 2 years? Okay.
There's an Xbox One console exclusive, also on PC.
Yeah.
So it's been out for 2 years already.
Yeah.
And now they're going to redo it.
Well, they're not gonna like start again. What they're doing is they're taking the assets that they have and the narrative that they've written, and they're writing in a new story focused on the 3 characters, and they're taking out the roguelike sort of mechanics, and instead they're building it as a stronger narrative experience. It's something that they started to do last year, and as I say, they're hoping to. I can understand the concerns. I can, and as I say, like, I'm not 100% on this. I'm not quite sure how happy I am with this, but I think it's super unfair to expect a company to succeed by saying we learned a lot of lessons, but we pushed out shite anyway. I think that's a really.
No, I think what they're doing is probably the right
thing.
As far as redoing the actual game itself. I'm not sure that the price should be doubled though. That seems a bit much, especially as like Gearbox are co-publishing Fortnite, which has just celebrated its 1 millionth player.
Yep.
And they're all early access people, so they've all spent a minimum 35 quid or whatever the regional equivalent of that is. So they've got 1 million people playing Fortnite now, and who knows how many of those 1 million people are then buying the V-Bucks for loot llamas and stuff. You know, they've got to be making a reasonable amount of money from that. They had the Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, which came out recently, which, as far as I'm aware, did relatively well.
Yeah.
Well, what you've got to think is at least 35 million. Like, that's a fair bit of change to throw around as a studio.
Yeah, well, it's only a co-publishing with Epic, so they probably won't have got all of that. But
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, that's a big pile.
Yeah, they would have got a sizable chunk from that. And I think, you know, you've had quite a few people playing We Happy Few in early access. And I agree it needs to be redone because I started watching someone on YouTube play it, and I got about 3 videos into the series, and I was just like, do you know what? This doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm getting frustrated watching them get frustrated about the roguelike stuff. I don't feel like they're making any progress, and like there was a lot of randomness to it where they'd get killed or whatever, and they'd have to start again, and so they'd go to the cupboard that they went to before, and it would have different stuff in it, and it's like,
well, the map would be entirely different as well.
Yeah,
so
and
you
it's
would
just
know
like,
where to
well-
go and get water, but then you would die of dehydration the next time you played because you couldn't find where the water fountain was.
So and the idea
I agree that changed. That does need to be changed. But whether it's, I mean, the thing is, like, it's difficult for us to say whether it's worth it being doubled in price until we know exactly what they've done with it. So until next year, when it's due to be released, it's going to be really difficult for us to say, yes, this is going to be worth $60, when, you know, it could still be rubbish in 8 months, 9 months' time, when they're getting ready to release it. It could still be trash. In which case, no, it won't be worth $60. Or they could make it into one of the best games of next year, in which case, yes, it'll be worth $60. But until they've done that, it's going to be hard for us to say whether it's going to be worth it or not. Apparently, you get a pre-order discount, which makes it a little bit cheap.
10% or something, I think it is.
Right, but you can buy it now in early access. If this sounds like your kind of deal, you can buy it for the half the price now. From what I understand.
So...
this is the other sort of trend with this as well, is when they start to spill onto console is when these price increases become, and it seems to be to create parity with consoles. Now, if it costs you more to put it on a console, charge more on a console. If it costs you less to release it on a PC, charge less.
It's actually gone up in price on Steam already.
Oh, it has?
It's £38.24.
Right. Okay.
So it's already gone up in price on Steam.
So
that's with the pre-order discount, I guess. Once it comes out of early access, it'll be
45 or
40 quid, 45 quid,
whatever it is, whatever $60 equates to over here. But no, I think it's a really brave thing, and I think it's a brave thing in the face of what we've seen with No Man's Sky in these last couple of weeks, where every Zoom call I've been in recently, we've talked about No Man's Sky. Every single one, without fail. We've talked about No Man's Sky, and we've talked about, did pushing out a half-finished shit game and fixing it later work? And honestly, no.
I don't know. I would be inclined to almost disagree with that, because after that update that's been put out, it's fucking rocketed back up the charts on Steam.
People have been playing it more. Whether they will continue to playing it,
that's the thing.
It's a different situation altogether.
Everybody wants to see, right?
The people want to go, okay, well, let's go and check it out again. Whether they'll be playing it for the next couple of weeks is,
Let me have a quick looky look.
Like,
if
you can
Hello
say
Games
all day,
continue to do what they're doing, then eventually it might actually be worth playing again. But every so often I'm like, shall I reinstall it? Can I maybe? I don't know. And then I'm like, no, yeah.
Right. And every time you speak to people, they're like, oh, well, I ought to have a look at the new update, but I'm not really that bothered. And it's that thing of, we weren't given the game that we were promised. There's no way that we're going to get the game that we were promised. So why do we want to play something that we didn't want to play in the first place? And it's soured it, and it's going to be difficult to climb back from that. It's possible, by all means, but that horrendous first impression of the Jurassic Park melodic of monster, like, that's basically what we're dealing with here. And I think it would be a mistake for We Happy Few to go. Yeah,
but the difference between We Happy Few and No Man's Sky is the fact that We Happy Few has been in early access for 2 years already.
Right.
Whereas No Man's Sky wasn't. No Man's Sky probably should have been.
Yes.
And then there wouldn't have been this massive issue with it.
again,
this is what we've got so far. This is how much it is, and we're going to continue to put it out, updates and stuff for it until we're actually finished. If they'd done that, then it would have been a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
But they were published by... Who were they published by? Who was that? Sony. So I think we can probably safely say that it was Sony's fault that it went as badly as it did.
Yeah.
Well, they created a hype machine which set them up to fail.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
I feel like these guys suffered from that a little bit as well, because again, this was an E3 reveal from Compulsion. Now, Compulsion's games before that were quite quiet. I hadn't heard of them until, I think, just before this was a thing, and it was only because I was working a game and I had to memorize everything on the damn shelves. Compulsion were quite quiet before this. This was announced and everybody was like, this British thing is good, yeah? And then when the early access hit, people went, this British thing is a bit naff, isn't it? Like, why is it nagging me constantly? Why am I having to reset my progress constantly? Like, and I think it was good that they had that feedback, as harsh as it was, because now they're in a better position to say, okay, this isn't the route that we need to get the game that we want out. What's the route that we take? They did. Yep, there you go.
I liked contrast.
Yeah.
But just quick moving back to the No Man's Sky thing, about 11,000 people playing right now.
Which is probably better than what they had. What,
that's about. Ooh, I want to say 11,000 more than.
The thing is,
actually, I have a graph. Okay, so it was about 1,100.
Wow.
And then leaped up to about 20,000.
Everybody wants to try the. I will probably, having seen a couple of people stream it, I will probably go and try it. And I will probably convince Matt to come and be a floating orb in my world so that I can punch him endlessly.
The thing is, with the floating orb thing, that's one step closer to getting actual multiplayer. Yeah. So, you know, I think they're headed in the right direction. And again, if they'd gone early access, it probably would have been okay. But Sony are like, you know, we've got to get this game done. You've got to get this game done by this time, and it's got to be finished. And it's like, well, okay. So I think games did the best they could with the time that they had, but yeah, they needed much longer to get that fixed.
And interesting, like looking at We Happy Few stats by comparison. Before that story broke, 71 players in a day. Mm-hmm. After it broke, 236. People remind, but then it's just gone straight back down again.
Because they get to the end of the early access content and they're like, well, now to wait for the rest of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting that, like,
yeah. I mean, the art style of We Happy Few was what kind of caught my eye originally, because it has that kind of original Bioshock kind of art with the masks and stuff. Kind of reminded me a little of that, and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool." But yeah, nothing in the gameplay made me think I want to play this. So if they're going to change it, cool. If that makes it better, even that's cool too.
Yeah, maybe it's my tradition of being Captain Pessimist, but I still don't see it ever.
I hope it does, honestly.
Well, I tell you what, when just before this game is released, we'll have another podcast next year, and I'll come back on and we can discuss it again next year when this.
I could just screech at you about how it's still shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can be Captain. I told you so.
Yeah. We'll update your name badge and cape.
That'd be great. I love it. Right, so I guess we can put that one.
Yeah, should we talk about something that you actually do want and do like? For a change.
Well, yeah, it's quite rare, isn't it? I like occasionally saying nice things, honest, I promise. So, the young laddo that made Papers, Please, which, if you guys haven't played, you definitely should. Short, fun little game that was just very, very... I don't know. Like, it's very, very, very enjoyable. Yes, glory to Artstotska.
See, I heard Gatka and my whole brain went, glory to Gatka! But Gatka's the neon screen setting and not Yeah.
That's definitely not the
Definitely
same.
not the same.
So he's working on a new game called Obra Dinn, which, it had a demo back in November of last year, so nearly a year ago now. And he's just kind of come about to show off a little bit more of it. I heavily recommend taking a look at the. We've got a trailer for this one, right? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we've got the gameplay. We've got the gameplay from the demo going on. So this is the ship that you're on, the Obra Dinn, has been lost at sea, and it reappears. And you are tasked with finding out where it's been, why it's been lost, how it's got back, and why, in fact, there are dead people all over the boat.
And you get like these flashbacks to try and help you figure out why these or what happened to this particular person to make them a corpse. But it's just the art. The art's just cool as shit. Like on its own.
1D kind of grainy
Pen
Game
scribbling.
Boy. Yeah. It's bizarre, right?
It looks a little bit like the Take On Me video. Like, that's why I like it. You know what I mean?
I can still hear it in Crash Wars. I'm so sorry. Shows how sleep deprived I am.
That's maybe that's why I like it. So being human, I really enjoyed it, so I like this game. But his previous like smaller games as well that he's done, like he kind of threw out for free. I can't remember the name of it to save my life, but there's one where you like edit a newspaper that's in like the same universe as Papers, Please, kind of ish, where you are tasked with like kind of deciding what stories go into the newspaper, and based on which ones you put into the newspaper, like different things happen in the world around you. Like if you put, I don't know, revolutionary messages in there, then the revolutionaries get stronger and start trying to take over the country. Or if you just put the government approved messages in there, then everyone stays calm. And you might get murdered for your, I don't know, your message.
Sorry, the person on the trailer just activated a flashback. And I love it because it's this weird darkness kind of creeps in around you.
Oh, I just saw it, yeah.
Sorry. He is a master of social commentary.
Yes.
Absolutely. Lucas Pope is a master of social commentary, and I'm super excited to see whether this is a straightforward thriller detective-y, work out what happened, piece it together yourself in your brain, and then talk to people for days about why your theory is correct. Or whether this is going to have a twinge of that social commentary too. And it would be really interesting in the... I have to be really careful about how I say this now, don't I? In the sort of times that we are currently experiencing. He did a cracking job of describing Russia, didn't he? Like that, just straight out, like he did, and general kind of viewpoints that are similar to that are starting to creep over into the US as well. At least insofar as border control is concerned. It's interesting to see these narratives kind of coming back again, you know?
Oh, so funny enough, I was watching a load of George Carlin stand-up before we got onto the podcast. He was talking about like how Clinton got like the original Clinton to be nominated for president got re-elected. And he was just like, because he puts his bullshit out front. People just like to know that they're being lied to their face. And I'm like, God, that fucking echoes, doesn't it? Like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, just like it's interesting. Like there aren't really any new themes, are there? Really, like they just kind of circulate background and become relevant once more with slightly different players. So it'd be interesting to see where this one taps in.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is some subterfuge committed by Arstotzka. Who's to say? You never know, right?
If you guys are interested in his other games and stuff, you guys can find them there.
And there is a demo out for this.
Yes.
So you can have a play around with that, which is on that site.
It's called the Republia Times.
Republic Time. That's right. Because Republic was another country, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Or state,
in a glorious and free nation of Republia.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You must use your influence to print positive articles that paint Republia in a good light. And it was one that he did for Ludum Dare, and I feel like that's what kind of springboarded this. Yeah, I feel like that's what sort of springboarded Papers, Please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I need to nap for a week. I'm so sorry, boys.
Well, like the demo / actual mini game of Papers, Please, which isn't in Papers, Please, came out not too long after that game came out, the Republic Times one.
Yeah.
And they were actually very close together. And then he kind of built upon the idea of Papers, Pleased and Please, and broadened the idea and made it into like a full game that he then sold. But you can still find, like, again, on his site, there's the original kind of mini game, which is only like a couple 3 days worth of gameplay on the site. Also, how torn are we on the Papers, Please movie? That's because most game adaptation movies are pretty fucking horrendous.
Like, I could understand them making like a Warcraft movie or the Assassin's Creed movie. Like,
how
because
fun is a booth?
Exactly, you're in a booth all day.
You can't. No. I've seen that film where they put, is it Green Lantern in a box and they bury him under the ground and what?
An entire movie?
What?
I mean, there was a film that Ryan Reynolds was in.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. So he's in a box underground, and all you ever see is him in the box, pretty much. So
I mean, it'd be interesting.
I feel like the problem isn't that it's just centered around a booth.
Yeah, but I don't think the film did very well.
No, it was naff.
It was a kind of very niche market for that.
Yeah, no.
Being in a box for the entire movie is quite a niche market, yes. Like,
to be fair, I think I was just glad that Ryan Reynolds was in a box for a very long time, because he's one of those that really irritates me. He really grates on me, and I'm not entirely sure why. Apologies, Ryan Reynolds fans. Please don't send hate mail.
It's already happened. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see if they can make. I don't think they will, but I'm interested to see if
I don't know about that.
I'm just like, if something else, I just like the fact that
they get movies from. That's not one that I put money on.
No, I just like the idea that it might be used to publicise his work a lot more, and his games are fucking cool. Yeah. That's the only reason I'm kind of keen on it. But on to other games that are coming out at a later point in time as the tenuous segue of the week, because I have no idea how to link the two even in the most tenuous of ways. Shenmue 3 is it's going through changes. I think it's going through puberty at the moment, because it's going through some very strange changes, and there's hair growing in places that it never did.
Sing at you then, but I feel like you don't deserve that kind of torture.
I don't know. Calm your tits, Ozzy. There's no need for it. So they've previously gone through the Kickstarter process based off of their original launch at the Sony press conference, where I was sat up there squeeing at Final Fantasy VII's remake slightly earlier in the running order. So they announced that it was going into a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter went through, and obviously it went incredibly well, and Sony's all like, yeah, good guys, bring this one back. Great. And now they're getting published by Deep Silver as well. It's like, how much money do you need to make Shenmue, which is like, the guy's face was about like 3 planes for Shenmue. Don't get me wrong, the Shenmue games were cool, and they were good, and there's a reason that they're a fan favourite. You have enough. You can make a game based on your Kickstarter earnings alone. Do you really need a... I don't know.
They've got Sony's backing as well, because don't forget, people were worried that the scale of Shenmue was beyond what they were asking for on the Kickstarter. People were worried that they were asking too little on the Kickstarter to be able to achieve the game. And they had to come forward and sort of go, well, actually, we have Sony's backing in part on this. So we have Sony's backing, we also have then the Kickstarter backing. Now we've got Deep Silver in this as well, and as much as I admire a lot of Deep Silver's stuff, I wonder if we're muddying this too hard, bringing a publisher into the mix as well. I'm worried about, again, this feels to me now like we're going on to some 12-part epic, and I hope it is wonderful. I hope it does endlessly well, but I'm super worried about why this is having to get support in at different points and at different...
It can't need it. It raised 7 fucking million on Kickstarter.
Holy shit.
And they took Sony's backing as well alongside that, because that wasn't going to be enough for them to fund the entire game.
7 million. Like, no, it's enough. You received 7 million. Like, you don't even need Sony's help. You've got 7 million to make what is effectively. I can't see them making that big a different game. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that fantastic, wonderful, madness sort of thing. Like, I just don't see it. I really, really don't see it. Like, I don't know how well it would translate from how it was originally to this sort of 20+ year later sequel. That generally doesn't go too well.
I was going to say, I wonder if the audience for this is still around. But of course it is.
7 million.
Because, yeah, they raised that much money. The audience reaction to this was crazy. It reminded me of when they announced that they were redoing Grim Fandango. I was sat on my sofa, and I recognized the announcement. I climbed onto the back of the sofa, curled up in a little ball, and made really odd squeaking, crying noises for about 2 hours.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, like it was a sight. It was for sure a sight, right?
I mean, as far as like reaction in the hall, so it wasn't as big as the Final Fantasy VII remake, but it was definitely towards that end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
like, it was a big reaction.
So there are a lot of people interested in this, and from what I remember of Shenmue, there's a lot of different bits and pieces. There's no sort of there's an overarching mechanic, but then there are various dribs and drabs of other things, and there's a lot to do. It's obviously a very the words escape me. It's obviously like a really big project to take on.
But like, I kind of put this in the same basket as the Yakuza games, insofar as they're really, really quirky, and they're a bit odd, and they're a little niche, but still quite popular. And I think because of that, maybe they do need that support. Maybe they want to try and reach a wider audience with it in the same way as Persona did. I mean, you know, Deep Silver did publish Persona 5, and to good effect, presumably. Maybe that's the way it is. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to tap into that kind of Persona 5 gravy train, where the Western world appreciate a sort of niche-ish type game. I don't know, but it just seems like how much more support do you need? Like, I don't know. It just seems a little over-egging it. Also, with that many hands in the pot as well, surely it's going to meddle with the vision of the game a little bit. Oh, well, this is more marketable to these audiences, so you should really add in this thing and add in some microtransactions so you can have a jaunty hat.
Well, this is what I was saying about muddying it with a publisher now, as well as having Sony's influence in there. And, you know, I've
And you've got to make more money as well. You have to make more money to get your money back as a profit to that company because there's more people taking slices.
I don't know. I'm worried
They've
about.
already got $7 million of people's money. So
But presumably that's to make the game.
Yes.
Like,
yes, but
plus,
that's
you've got to film.
own the game once it's done. Is my point.
Hmm.
People don't back stuff on Kickstarter and then buy the game once it's out.
Well,
Yeah,
those people presumably mostly will get a copy of the game for like $40-50 or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it seems like they're getting a diminishing profit coming back off of it. But hey.
I mean, if it does as well as Persona 5 seemed to do, then I think
they'll be flying.
I think maybe that's why Deep Silver has been brought on board, because they wanna. It'll probably do. I imagine the other originals probably did very well over in Japan and stuff.
Oh yeah, they were big over there.
It's probably just a case of Deep Silver wanting to help bring it to the Western civilization and get them.
I guess the consideration is as well is like, obviously Sony will do the publishing for Sony, but they're not going to do it for Steam, or if they go Xbox One or whatever else like that. I don't know whether they are going multi-platform. I'm not honestly sure. So they were PS exclusive for the first two,
right?
My awareness. So maybe they're just handling the Steam release and whatever else. I don't know. It doesn't specifically say whether they do or they don't.
No, again, it's not going to be next year, is it? So
yeah, so we shall see. But speaking of microtransactions for jaunty hats, Skull and Bones, or as it's now dubbed, Skull and Boxes, they've got a really weird way. So they're going to have loot boxes because, of course. I think that was kind of almost a foregone conclusion, considering who's publishing. But the economy for buying all of your cosmetics and whatever else that come out of the loot boxes simulates, or rather emulates, the real economy of the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, I never understood this. Like, I was reading through this article that you linked me to, and they're talking about the fact that it includes loot boxes. Like, that's what the article was like. That starts off talking about, but at no point in the quotation marks of whoever they're interviewing do they mention loot boxes at all.
No,
and it's like they start talking about something completely different, and they've basically just given like the politicians' answer, where you always see these politicians on news programs, or whatever. They get asked a question, and then they give the answer that they've already prepared, regardless of what question you've asked them.
Yeah, I can see that actually. Like,
that's what's happened here. Like, they've said, they started talking about microtransactions, and then it's like what is it he says here?
Yeah, they basically just go, here's the economy.
The real economy of the Indian Ocean. So things that are important to the people who are shipping goods and the merchants, the empires, those things are important to you. Right. What's that got to do with microtransactions?
But Brexit means Brexit, Matt.
So there were two comments on this that I absolutely adored, and I fell about laughing, and I'm probably the only one, but I feel they're worth mentioning. And it was one person who was super excited to open opium and slaves in their loot boxes.
I mean, is that not what you want in
well, they talk about what's important to these merchants, and I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm with that. And the other person who was trying to work out how they could pirate the game to simulate the real economy of the Indian Ocean, and every part of me went, oh no.
Well, to be fair, that in theory should then discount that should increase the price of the cosmetic boxes, because the supply has been removed from the market, right? Right. So the demand therefore would increase.
Yeah, I
just don't understand how they're putting or they're going to implement these, like, he talks about how, like, oh, you see another ship and they've got maybe they've got this kind of flag, or these kind of sails, or the captain's wearing this kind of hat. Whatever it is, they don't actually really talk about. Like, how do they get that? Why is there loot boxes? Surely, if it's a pirate game, you use your spyglass to go, there's a ship over there, let's go and take it out, board it, steal all their stuff, either take on crew or kill everyone else.
Yeah. And you look at the pirate in the jaunty hat, and you go, I want that hat. I'm going to murder the shit out of that guy and steal his hat. Yeah, precisely.
Or if you're really going to go that far, treasure chests that you can get and grab from those ships are all locked, and you go to a locksmith or what have you on an island, and you pay him in a different currency in order to have him to open those treasure boxes for you, because they're made of steel or iron or whatever.
Right.
That would work.
But as we were talking about this like a little bit the other day. You don't know. I mean, a lot of the time, pirates probably wouldn't know what were on those ships, as far as like their cargo is concerned. So a lot of the time, they would be going, "There's a ship. Let's see what it has." And sometimes it might not have anything. It might just be a couple of sacks of grain or something. In which case, you spent all that time chasing after a ship that maybe wasn't really worth it. But that's kind of the whole point. Was that you're never really sure. So how I still don't understand, and I say it doesn't explain in this article how they're going to be implemented. They're just talking about customization elements and cosmetics and vanity items to let you personalize your experience.
Something has just occurred to me, is we're thinking awfully deep into the logic and the way that it works for a game that allows you to jump into a cannon and fire yourself across onto another boat. Or is that the other one?
No, that's the other one. That's not this one.
Oh, okay.
That's the other one. That's Rare's one, which I'm super excited for. Sea of Thieves, yeah.
So, what's that one?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
I'm really excited for Sea of Thieves.
Separate your games!
I want you all to join me in Sea of Thieves, and we'll go on adventures, and it'll be actually marvellous. This one... I'm not...
This is the less fun one, then, that they're going to pop up with microtransactions.
I'm worried about it. Honestly, like, I am worried about it. Sorry, I've just been linked to magnificent hat.
This is boats only, isn't it? This is just Boat World Online.
Yes,
and
this is Boat World Online.
Boat World Online.
and not Wankstick Online.
No.
And, okay, so then yeah, I see even less appeal then. Because Sea of Thieves is going to be fun, and this is going to be a weak knockoff of Black Flag.
Yeah, I mean, this one of the quotes in this article: if somebody sees your ship, they should know you're a badass, or that you're really invested in cosmetics.
Yeah,
and
so basically,
but cosmetics is in cosmetic items that you've paid a lot of money for. Invested a lot of. Says there, invested in cosmetics. So you've put a lot of money into getting these cosmetic items.
Yeah. But so it's basically saying the stuff you can get from loot boxes are shit.
Yeah, it's not gonna help you in any way. Which again, I guess is a good thing. But
it's basically saying they look shit. It's like you'll either look really cool or you'll look like a dick that spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Again. These quotations are brilliant. I don't know if they've just like not proofread it, or if they're actually quoting the person that said it word for word, and their English isn't necessarily their first language.
Yeah, I mean they'd probably be French.
But they're talking about like how he plays racing games and he sees someone's racing car tricked out, or whatever. It says that's what I want. I've spent hundreds of dollars on Overwatch. And I can't see it. I'm only doing it so that other people see what I spend or what I buy, and that's crazy. But it's
aneurysm.
Like that in one of them.
Sorry, my eye went.
He's buying all this stuff. He said he spent hundreds of dollars on stuff for Overwatch, and the skins and stuff he can't see them because obviously it's first person. So it's only for other people to see that he's got this.
And
it's just like...
That feeds into the social pressure thing that I suffer from, where I see people with cool skins, and I'm like, man, I want that fucking cool skin, and I'll play a game to desperately get enough currency or boxes or whatever to get that cool skin. And by the time I have it, somebody's got a better one that I want. Because I don't have the money to spend on these games. Like, it's why I don't go on the Tiny Rails subreddit, because people have really cool trains that they paid for. And I can't. I have to unlock mine at random. So, it's one of those things that I suffer from really badly, and it genuinely sounds from that quote like they're gonna feed off of people like me. Where it doesn't affect that guy in the slightest. He spent all that money, blah, 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 blah. What they're looking at is targeting people like me, where I'm like, oh, I've got like a spare tenner. I could spend it on like something useful, like food.
Is that not borderline exploitation, though?
I mean,
you're kind of preying on people like
you're preying on human nature, but that's capitalism.
Self-restraint. You know, I mean. He said he spent hundreds of dollars on Overwatch, which is fine because he probably makes a reasonable amount of money, I'd hope. But you know, a lot of the people playing video games don't earn a lot of money, and so spending that sort of money isn't viable. Now, again, in nowhere in this article does it say that if you don't want to spend lots of money on these loot boxes, on these microtransactions, would you still be able to get the same items? It doesn't say anything about that. So again, it's like, do you have a generic looking player character? Do you have a generic looking ship that you just go around in, and the only way you can get these things is through microtransactions? We don't know because it doesn't say anything else. But I don't feel like this is a very good advertisement for this game. It's basically making it sound like, well, I spend lots of money on microtransactions in games that I enjoy, so everyone else should.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think that's the right way to go. No, especially if it's going to be if it's Ubisoft, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be essentially like a AAA game, so it's going to be the same price as most other games that you see from Ubisoft. So I don't know, probably about 40 quid.
Presumably.
So it's a 40 quid game, and then they want you to spend money on microtransactions as well. Yeah. And it's like, well,
that's good for Ubi though, isn't it? That's just what they do.
And the problem with that is potentially you can't spend the money to get the gear that you want. This isn't like you're picking the DLC packs that you want. This is you're paying money to have the chance getting what it, and that to me never seems
it's like
fair.
the Hearthstone cards and the Overwatch loot boxes, and CS:GO boxes, you know, all of that kind of stuff.
It needs to be regulated. It's gambling.
Yeah,
it is literally the definition of gambling. It needs to be regulated.
It's not your League of Legends where you buy a currency and then you choose what you spend that currency on in the store.
No.
Which is fine. World of Warcraft, I think, does the same. I know Final Fantasy 14 does. Final Fantasy 14, you can buy your mounts and your pets. Of course you can do it for World of Warcraft, because they do charity ones as well and things. Pip is having a dumb today. That's fine, and I never have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is I want a diva skin coming out of an event, right? Because I'm a diva main, I want a diva skin. Or I'm a Roadhog main, I want a Roadhog skin coming out of an event. I can't buy currency and buy that skin that I want, that I will play the shit out of. Instead, I've got to buy boxes to go through a Lucio skin, and to go through who else do I like playing? Symmetra, to get a Symmetra skin, or a Mercy. I can't play one side of Mercy! Mercy's far too difficult a character for me to play. And I've got to go through all these skins.
And you always get that one as a fucking legendary as well. Like whatever one you don't play or can't play.
I have so many of the really nice Symmetra skins, and I'm like, this is great, but I can't play Symmetra.
For how little I've played Overwatch, right? I tell you what, I could show you some fantastic Tracer skins. I can't play it to save my fucking life, because she goes a lot faster than my brain does. So I just can't keep up. But I have got nearly every fucking skin for that bitch, I tell you. Fucking annoying.
I mean, I wouldn't know anything about what Tracer looks like, but for the rest of them, definitely, it's. I keep getting Symmetra skins, and I don't want them.
Symmetra's fine though, because all you need to do is just waft about a bit and go. There you go. There's a turret. There's another turret. There's a turret.
Right, but that's boring. I want to go fly into people and knock them off things, and then pew pew at them and then fly away.
At least you're capable of playing that. I am incapable of playing Tracer. She is too zippy, too fast. I can't.
Fast bays, best bays. But anyway, moving this back to where we were. The economy of the Indian Ocean in a loot box.
Yeah, that's not true.
No.
It's basically
just a load of fucking spaff.
No,
It's just a load of spaff to go. Occasionally, we'll crank up the prices because fuck the consumer, and occasionally we'll make them cheap like they're on sale. And that's it.
Those French people at Ubisoft,
Good
they really have
solid French accent, isn't it?
Yeah, I approve of this.
No, that's literally what it is. That's literally what they are saying. We will crank up the prices whenever the fuck we feel like it. When people haven't bought boxes for a while, the prices will lower to encourage people to buy boxes. When people have bought lots of boxes recently, the price will go up because we know we can feast upon that. That's literally them saying we can control the market based on demand as much as we fucking want and make the most money out of it because of it.
Yeah, that's pretty shit.
Good job, guys.
Should we talk about worthwhile investments instead? Because holy shit, loot boxes are horrendous.
This is really cool. I think this is like really neat, and I only found out about it like yesterday or the day before, and it's really cool. So this is a bit of a two-part thing. So first and foremost, Kingdoms and Castles is a cool kind of little town managey buildy kind of game that is it's okay. It doesn't look amazing, but it's okay. It's capable. It could be better. It's probably going to get updated to be a little bit better at some point in time. Cool, lovely.
It's all right. Yeah.
But the cool part is the platform that it sprouted from, which is called Fig. And Fig is it's kind of a 50-50 platform. So you can go on there and buy games that have been funded through Fig. Or you can go on Fig and you can pre-purchase games in a kind of Kickstarter style where you throw in your $20 or whatever it is, and then when the game's finished, it will poop out a copy of the game for you to play, and happy days, you've pre-ordered it, you've helped support their creation process. Or you can be an investor. So you throw X amount of money towards that game, and it can be the same amount as the price of the cost of the game, and you can still get a copy of the game for that, depending on how they run their campaign. But you've invested in that game. You've put your $40 towards that game's creation. And you're now a shareholder. And if the game does very well, you'll start getting dividends come back from that game. And Kingdoms and Castles has already doubled its initial investment. So the system works. And so far, that's just so far that you will continue receiving dividends for as long as that game is making money. Basically indefinitely. And that's very interesting and very cool. And now I want to back every game ever on there.
As a note, the cat game that we discussed at the very beginning of the podcast, the one that Swery is involved with, that is being funded through Fig.
Well, it's my wallet.
I've got a 2p coin and that's it. Otherwise, I would throw money at my screen.
I also have a 2p coin.
Yeah.
For scratching off my scratch cards.
Oh no, I'm fiddling with mine. Yeah. No, it's a really neat platform. I like this idea that you are invested in this game more than just where's my copy at the end of development. I like that. It's potentially a safer way of getting funding for them. You know, you draw in more if people know that they're going to get more out of it.
Well, they might get out of it. It is like any other investment that you make. It could end up being.
Are you a poster, Matt? I've read this exact statement on so many posters on the tube. Investments may go up or down.
Well, it's true though. It is. I mean, just like you said, like you know, you said like loot boxes is gambling. This is exactly the same. But you know, that's why smart people make good investments. So, you know, if you think a game is going to do well, and you think that, you know, even if you don't like it, like the cat game, if that's being put on Fig, you know, I probably wouldn't play it. But if I think it's going to do well, I could go and invest in it, and hope that it does do well, and then I see some money back, which would probably be not a bad idea. But
the other interesting thing with it as well, which I forgot to mention, is that Fig don't take the money directly. So, like, I give 20 quid to this game, that game gets 20 quid. Fig just take a share of the dividends that come back. So you've also kind of got the fact that your money is going there without the extra fees and toss and whatever else, like you would do through like Indiegogos and whatever else, where they just take the cream directly off the top and don't give the full amount across to the creator. They take, you know, they take some of the proceeds if the game does do well. So it's a bit less riskful, I guess, for the people creating games, because
almost like there's no win, no fee.
Pretty much.
Lawyers.
It's quite similar, because, you know, but you are getting the full amount that you need. There's no, I've raised £1 million, but actually I've only got 800 grand after Kickstarter have taken their money out, and then once PayPal's taken their money out, I've only got 750 grand, and then is that going to be enough to actually finish stuff now? I should have asked for 1.25 million on the Kickstarter, but now I'm a bit stuffed, and now I've got to fulfill all these prizes, blah blah blah. There's less of that pressure, and there's less of that kind of just snipping little bits of cash out continually, and whittling down what they actually get to develop the game with. But there's still the pitfall, which is, will this game ever emerge?
But that's always the case with any of these games, regardless of whether it's on Fig or Indiegogo or Kickstarter. There's always that chance that no matter how much money people pledge, there's always that chance it's not going to be made and not going to be finished, or something's going to go wrong along the way.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
but the thing with Kickstarter is they've put protections in place more recently to make people culpable for the money that they have received. And that's how it works. Whereas with this being framed as an investment, I would imagine those protections couldn't be in place.
Yeah, if it's an investment, I would assume that, you know, it's just like any other investment where if it all goes wrong, then that's it. You don't get your money back.
But whereas with Kickstarter now, like, it wasn't like this before, and people did do some scummy bits and pieces, but now, like, you know, if you go and spend your $1 million on hookers and blow, you're still culpable for delivering what you promised to deliver on your Kickstarter.
Yeah, you look at things like that Ant game. That Ant game where one of the developers came forward and went, look, I'm really sorry, we're going to have to cancel this. And everybody went, oh, we're fucking... And he went, yeah, please let me tell my story. So the guy I was working with took all the Kickstarter money, literally cocaine and hookers.
And parties and champagne.
Yeah,
and
there's nothing left. I can't make the game on my own. He's taken everything. He has a right to the IP, so I can't just carry on and make the game without him because he has a rights to it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. He's bankrupt us as a company. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And it was really nice to see that come through and for people to support him. Because some really awful stuff happened with Kickstarter.
Well, you had that Yogscast game that never fucking happened.
The other one, and I forget what platform it was, and I know if Steve's listening, he can tell me, because he was telling me all about it when it happened. But the Coleco Chameleon, did any of you guys see that?
I remember seeing about it. I didn't know anything happened with it.
So somebody took a retro console shell and said that they were making this console called the Coleco Chameleon. They bought the rights to the Coleco name, or they'd invested in enough rights to have the Coleco name, and they had this super familiar retro console shell, and they bought all the production rights to that and stuff like that. And they were, it was an Atari Jaguar shell. Thank you. I didn't want to say it in case I get it wrong, but it was a Jaguar shell. So they put it up on one of these funding platforms, and everybody looked at it and went, "There's no board inside that. That's just an empty shell. There's something wrong here." So it was taken down. They showed it off at I think it was like Tokyo Game Show or one of those, and they actually took it. They actually took this unit to a Tokyo Game Show, and it had like a capture card from a different unit altogether. It wasn't unique to that thing. It was something that they'd ripped out of a different machine. The controllers weren't plugged into it. They were plugged into something like behind the machine. Oh, it was the New York Toy Fair. There you go. It was one of them.
The fountain of wisdom that is Steve in the chat is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Genuinely, because he follows all these retro YouTubers, and I only like half listen to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a thing where at a toy fair somebody took a picture. They managed to work out from the board that it was a SNES mini board inside it on a different picture, because they'd put a clear case on it instead of a dark case, and they were still asking for money. This console's going to be the best thing. They were getting YouTubers to say this console is going to be the best thing. It's going to be wonderful. We want to get you on board as an investor. And it was horrendous. It was actually horrendous that all this shit went on. And eventually, Coleco were like, yeah, go fuck yourselves. Indiegogo were like, where's our prototype unit? You have to give us a prototype that works before we will list you. You can't ask for money. So, as far as I'm aware, they made a last-ditch attempt with like a different platform altogether that nobody'd ever heard of. That went down the drain, and eventually it just all kind of collapsed. Yeah.
Good.
A lot of YouTubers went, we were taken in by this, like, we're really sorry. We didn't know anything about it. And a lot of YouTubers and podcasters and things were actively being attacked by the people who were trying to list this thing as a working project, because they were going, no, the board's one of these, and it looks like this. And when you look at the photographs, it looks like this. When you look at the controllers, that's not a controller port. That's, whatever. And they were actively being, like, attacked, and they were trying to get people to boycott them and say that they were liars about this and that and the other. It was awful, and it all came from the fact that they couldn't get funding on Kickstarter and on Indiegogo because they didn't have a working prototype yet. They wanted to take all this money for a project that just didn't work.
See, I was almost getting ready to say, well, I can kind of see it if you were saying like people were attacking the YouTubers for promoting it.
No.
It was. I was almost going to be sympathetic towards that. But how do you have any right?
There was a massive smear campaign against these guys who do it. There's two guys who do a podcast, right? And when they're together, they're really clever. It's all retro themed. They do it in like the back of their shop, so there's walls of retro games, and I'm constantly trying to work out like what's in the background. It's awesome. And they were bringing these photos up on screen and being like, please don't be taken in by this piece of shit. This is what the board looks like. We have the photographs, we know. They weren't letting anybody around the back of the unit to see what the back of the unit looked like. They wouldn't let anybody pick it up. The cartridge wasn't seated properly. And yeah, they were trying to boycott one of these guys in his book, and it was horrendous. There was so much drama around it. It was actually horrendous.
But like, if you're gonna smoke and mirrors, get enough smoke and mirrors to fucking do the job. You know what I mean? Like, and just have me standing there fucking vaping next to it to try and cover your tracks. Like, fucking, actually give it a decent. If you really want to pull the wool over people's eyes, you think you'd have a better crack at it than that. Like, would you not look at it as an objective human and go, right, now what would lead me to believe that this wasn't real? Ah, I see. The cartridge is upside down. Might look a little whiffy.
It was like a flash cart, you know, like one of the fake carts that you can load stuff onto, yeah?
Yeah.
But it wasn't seated right, even, in the console.
Would you not look at that before you put it on display? Would you not look at it and go...
They were so sure that they were going to take loads of people for money, and it just...
God, it's madness.
I don't know. But sorry, that rant aside, Kickstarter is a really scary place, as is Indiegogo. No, not as scary as it was.
Not quite as scary as it was, because there is culpability. Whereas with this, I don't think it will have as much culpability. From what they've got publicly visible, it doesn't really seem like there is as much culpability because of it being an investment as opposed to a gift plus reward, but you are promised that reward come hell or high water, basically.
This article does say that because Psychonauts 2 is being crowdfunded on Fig,
about 1932.
It doesn't release until next year. But they said if the original Psychonauts, which released in 2005, which sold 1.6 million copies, 1.2 million of those 1.6 were sold between 2010 and 2015. So it said, in other words, if you put investment into Psychonauts 1, if that had been crowdfunded on Fig, you'd have to wait a decade before you saw any return on your money. So, you know, that's how investments work. You're not gonna see your return. You're not going to double your money on every game, and it's not going to happen straight away. This is a kind of one-off. It can work like this, but it also cannot work like this. And most of the cases probably won't work like this.
But the interesting thing, though, and this is what will really interest me, is how this would work. Like, streamers could totally get in on this. So say I'm fucking Co-Carnage, right? I've got a bit of change to throw around because Co earns good money, right? And I go to this new cat RPG game and go, tell you fucking what, my crowd will love this game. And I go, here you go, cat RPG, have $5,000 that I'm going to throw against this game as an investment. Now I am going to promote the absolute tits off of this game on my stream. On my stream team, everyone that I come across at conventions, I'm going to go to their booth and I'm going to do fucking events from their booth at conventions. You can almost create that return on investment as a big name as a streamer, a content creator.
As a streamer and a content creator, it is important to kind of talk about, and it was one of the problems with the Calico Chameleon that a lot of these YouTubers weren't talking about the fact that they had investments in said console, and I think it's going to be super important that we set out a rule set.
Yeah, I think if you did invest in something and then started promoting it, you'd need to make it clear.
Well, it's like the CS:GO lottery website, right? That they found, and then their mums owned it or whatever it was, and then they owned it. Oops.
They owned it.
But yeah, they owned it. But the first couple of months of that was hey, we found this website.
Oh yeah. Oh, they invited me to have a code on it and to refer people across. But
what you're saying, is absolutely right. You could quite easily help promote a game that you've invested in the hope that, you know, it does well, and then you make some money back on that.
But I think this is potential. Like, can you imagine if this was kind of baked into Twitch? What a fucking potentially abusable, but potentially fucking cool system that would be. Yeah. This is Twitch's, Twitch as a publisher This is Twitch's game of the month that you can back here, and that you can promote here and link into here. And if you put, you say, for the month of June, my Twitch rev goes towards investment in this game or whatever else, and you take it straight out of what Twitch is going to pay you as a partner and put it straight towards it. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, Twitch can even integrate a thing that who's streaming this game as an investor.
Yeah, a little badge or some shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Give me an emote. Everyone loves fucking emotes. Give me a special emote.
Do you know somebody? I think it's LG has a badge. Oh,
Was it Axiom Verge one?
yes.
Yeah, I saw that in your chat. Yeah.
Sorry, eyeliner has ripped onto my hands, and I don't know why.
I personally think if you're thinking of investing money, there's probably better ways to do it than.
If you were a serious investor, then yeah.
Well, but even if you're seriously thinking about investing money, there are probably better ways of doing it than in a game that may or may not succeed.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, like, as someone uniquely positioned to influence that market,
of course,
you kind of have more of a sway towards doing this and going, solar power is going to be great. Why don't I throw some at solar power company A?
Well, yeah, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, like, even if it's just like an ISA or something, that is a more secure way of investing money.
Totally.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know anything about that. I understand good video games.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, this game has already made double its money, and ISA doesn't make double its money for a long time. This has made double its money in like a few months.
Yeah, but not every game's going to do that.
Right.
No, very much so.
Again, like, I would need somebody to go through and explain all that to me, whereas buying a video game...
You are guaranteed to get more money out of an ISA than what you put in.
Yeah, but that's you being sensible dad, as opposed to us being cool kid content creators.
but this is what I'm saying. Like, if you've got spare cash that you don't care whether you keep or lose, then sure, go for it. Because
I'm not saying like, your savings are better off here. Like, they're not.
They're not. It's a kind of cool thing to do, and you're helping get people's games made that they might not be able to make any other way. So in that respect, it is kind of cool. But Kingdoms and Castles is $10.
Yeah.
So if you were going to chuck like $50 at a video game in the hope that you get a return, you'd be better off spending the money to buy the game and then investing that $40 somewhere else.
True, but as I say,
if that's your sole reason for investing is to try and make money. Then
I just think that there's, as I say, with the ability to alter the market and to alter the perception of the market, that level of control is.
If you were someone like Coke Carnage or Ellaheim or any of these like top streamers or even top YouTubers for that matter, if you're one of these people that you have a huge kind of fan base, if you like, or viewership, whatever you want to call it, then why wouldn't you?
But think of the splash damage from that as well. So I'm Co Carnage and I do it and I put my money in and then I promote the tits off of it, and then my community put their money in as well, but now they're invested as well. So they're, in turn, if they're smaller content creators, are all going to go, I'd really like my money back and I'd like to make a bit of money on that, so I'm going to stream the tits off of this game as well, and I'm going to promote the tits off this game as well. Maybe. And all of their viewers go, oh yeah, I'll put a few quid in there, and it trickles down. So I could see that working as a thing.
Yeah,
and to be a link in that chain, you would still potentially benefit. Like I can see the benefits and the potential for a system like this. Yes, it's not guaranteed. Yes, it's not ideal. Well, no, it's potentially ideal. But like, it's not a guarantee, and it's more scary than an ISA. But it's potentially a lot more rewarding and a lot more effectual and ability to be hands-on against it if you can learn to pick out a decent game as opposed to one that's a bit of a con.
Yeah. And that's going to be the real trick is picking out those ones that are going to be the difference. But
then if I was going to throw in $5,000, I would probably be emailing the developer and say, look, I'm big boy Strimstram. You want to have a little chat before I potentially make a bit of a move with you. and then you go through the discussion with them to find out what their plans are and whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of mysterious nebulousness around the situation, but I'm sure there is a way that you could really delve into that and just make that a cool thing. And I've probably said too much about it already before I go and stuff. Right, should we move on to other things that we think are cool?
Yes, let's.
Insofar as we've been playing them this week, and they're good games.
Yes.
Who goes first there?
I mean, do you want to go? Do you want to go first, and then Matt can go, and then I'll finish up with an actual, relatively new game that people should be playing instead of the fossils that you lot are playing this week.
And mine's not that fossil based. It's last year. I think
to be fair,
not last year.
Not
7
years ago when.
So I think I've had
the last good game was made, Matt. 7 years ago. I will stop. Tell us about what you've been playing and what you like.
So Planet Coaster, I've been putting some more time in to get through the campaign of a lot more. I keep finding myself getting lost in the Steam Workshop because people have made some fucking incredible stuff on there. Like the like coasters that are like themed around the movie Tron. And if you hadn't have listed it as being around the movie Tron, I would have known it was around the movie Tron because it's that good. And it looked the part that much. Or like, someone did a Walking Dead themed one, but I had to make it into like an entire theme park because they put so much stuff into it that they couldn't upload it just as a roller coaster. And it literally is the first episode of The Walking Dead, coming out through the hospital and just seeing like the hordes of zombies up on the highway and like fires and cars overturned and whatever else. And it's just like, what? Like, madness. Or Firewatch. Someone created the entire game of Firewatch in a roller coaster.
That I can see.
And like you just kind of like zip around, like this wildfire starts spreading throughout a forest, and you climb up a ramp and then go and like knock down the side of a dam, and it goes and puts out all the fire, and you just kind of come back up and see that the danger rating has gone back down, and you finally go back and finish your ride. And it's just really, really cool and really,
to take a picture of a turtle on the roller coaster or.
No, unfortunately not.
It's my favourite bit of Firewatch. No,
maybe I'll add that as a suggestion. But like, it's just stuff like that is really, really cool. Or like they'll do really impressive things with the rides. Like they made a ride in a box. So it's literally like this tiny, tiny box that's smaller than some of the placeable rides, like the normal sort of small size rides that you can put into the park. And it's got an entire roller coaster in it that's like really, really good, and everyone loves it, and it's worth like mad amounts of money per ride. And it's just like, you must have spent like weeks trying to cram this thing into this tiny space and make it good and make it so people don't throw up and make it so it's not too scary. Mm-hmm. What? It just baffles me. The creativity that people have with this game is just astonishing. And it just fascinates me continually. I just like downloading all their creations and trying to figure out how the fuck they've managed to do such mad wizardry. Because I've got no ability of doing it myself. Like, I cannot do it.
No, building roller coasters in that game is ridiculous. Like, actually ridiculous.
That sounds like me when I'm playing like city builders, like City Skylines and stuff. When I watch other people play it, or whatever, and I'm just like, how do you not have any traffic jams? How do you manage to do this? Why does yours look pretty? Why does mine just look like garbage? What? How?
They've got this thriving metropolis, and you're like, I've got one road and it's mostly traffic.
Yeah. Basically. Like, how have you done this? Wizardry.
Yeah. I just find it fascinating, and I will forever just sit there downloading stuff and go, ooh.
I think the fact that they've like incorporated Steam Workshop stuff into that has made that game
masterstroke.
Yeah. So much better than it would have been if it didn't.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of it as a theme park management game. I really like building things and then being like, oh, I could use this to make a themed park, and then saving it, popping it away, and then building something entirely different, and spending an entire afternoon just building things, you know?
Mhm.
I really, really like it as a game.
Yeah, that's me. That's me for this week. Just dicking around on that. So I decided during the week that I don't actually play video games. So I was kind of scrambling to find anything, and I'd spent about half an hour playing Planet Coaster this week. But kind of the depth of my gameplay for the week, because apparently I am a game journalist only in name and nothing else. So, Mr. Matt, what have you been playing from the 3rd century BC this week?
I've been playing. If anyone's been on my streams, they've noticed that I've been playing Civ 5 on stream, Civilization 5. But I've actually been playing it quite a lot off stream as well. It's I've probably put, like, I don't know, 500 hours or something into this game since I got it. It's ridiculous. But I still think it's the better Civ game that's out at the moment.
That's what I was going to ask. Why 5 and not 6?
Oh,
The problem with 6 is the AI. The AI makes stupid decisions still. When it comes to warfare and stuff like that, and there's no diplomacy in 6.
No, not really.
No.
When in 6, if you're playing single player in 6, someone does something you don't like, you have to either denounce them or go to war, and that's the only options you have. There's no diplomacy there. You can't say, please don't do that again. It's just
you can,
Some
but you
things
just
you
ignore.
can, but they just ignore you.
Yeah, and then you kind of just go, well, I just have to go to war with them. That's literally the only option.
Did they not add something in via DLC? I mean, it would be shit if it was DLC anyway.
Well,
but
that's what I've been waiting for. I keep checking every so often to see if there's any updates to 6, to see if they've fixed any of this sort of stuff. And from what I can tell, they haven't. They've just been adding more civilizations, more city-states, more maps, which is fine. The core AI is still a problem. And I go onto the Civ subreddit, and there's still people saying that it's still a problem. So I like the fact that Civ 5 has the World Congress, and it also has like the United Nations and stuff like that. So you can, so if you're having a problem with another Civ, but you're not a warfaring Civ, and you need to make them weaker, you can
embargo and stuff. Yeah,
and you've also got the option for. If you're quite a wealthy civilization, you've always got that option to then go to another civ and say, hey, if I give you a bunch of stuff, will you go to war with them? And
that seems like a really base thing to have in that kind of game, and it baffles me it's not in 6.
Yeah, so just little things like that kind of make it a bit more interesting and make it a bit more like there are other options other than going to war. In Civ 6, like, I felt like the domination victory is probably the easiest one to go for. In general, like the happiness mechanic in Civ 5 makes it quite difficult to go for a domination victory, because as soon as you start getting lots of cities with lots of populations, your happiness falls, and if it falls down into minus, if people start becoming unhappy, it affects how much gold you earn and how much food you make and how much science you produce. So that really slows everything down. So you have to be really thoughtful about how you're going to do a domination victory in Civ 5. But in Civ 6, it's like, oh, well, I've taken this city, I might as well keep going. Like, this wasn't particularly difficult. The AI against me isn't particularly difficult. I'm just going to keep steamrolling over all of these. Oh, I've taken out America. Oh, that was easy. Okay, who's next? So that's why I prefer Civ 5. And plus, there's like, the game is all fully out and fully done now. There's all the DLCs are out for it, and it's relatively cheap as well in comparison. I mean, I quite like the way that Civ 6 looks. And I like the fact that Sean Bean narrates it. That's kind of cool. But, that's only going to take you so far if the gameplay isn't great. there's not much else you can do about it. So, so that's why I've been playing Civ 5 again. I think I've probably got about like 500 hours in Civ 5 because games take a long time in general.
Oh yeah,
Civ 5 anyway.
10-minute round, is it?
So yeah, I think the only problem with Civ 5 really is that the multiplayer can be a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Like if you've got more than if you get 4 or 5 people in, it can sometimes be a bit dodgy with connections and stuff like that.
No, that's always the case. So like in 6, I remember when I was playing against you, Pip. Like I definitely had a few dropouts. We had to restart and whatever else over a course of about 5-6 hours or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of come to expect that from those kind of games. It's not like at the end of the world either. You just kind of reconnect and it's fine.
Yeah, usually the problem with 6 is once you reconnect, or if you're down for a turn and you come back into the game, the AI will have woken up every single one of your goddamn units that you were set to alert, like on the side of the. So you have to go back through everybody. Yeah, but aside from that, it's alright.
Civ 6 could be really good, but they really need to figure out the AI because, as I say, I remember when I first started playing it, I would have 2 other civs declare a joint war against me for no reason at all, and then they would just do nothing.
Yeah, they'll declare war for the sake of declaring war because their AI dictates you've done bad enough things to declare war, but then they won't act upon it.
But then, exactly, and then they don't do anything, and you're like, well, are you? Or they might send 2 or 3 units over, which you take out quite easily. And then you're like, well, should I fight back? I mean, the problem, and then if you fight back and you take one of the cities from your opponent, everyone in the world calls you a warmonger.
Oh, well,
everyone hates you for the rest of the game because you're a warmonger.
The thing I found as well, even if they had 5 cities, you take one of their cities or even start attacking it quite heavily, and they'll immediately surrender and give you 28 billion gold to that. And that's just kind of a little over-egged.
Yeah. So if they fix the AI, and they don't charge quite as much for the DLCs for Civ 6, then I'll probably go back to playing that. But the DLCs are still too expensive for what they are, in my opinion, and the AI isn't very good. And there's no diplomacy, so that's why I'm playing Civ 5.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Plus, each game you play is going to be slightly different from the last, especially if you're playing a different Civ each time, or if you just set it on random like I do. So you're always going to be playing a different Civ, and the other Civs that are going to be you're playing against are going to be different. There's going to be different city states, and you're going to be on a different map. So there's always that kind of different challenge to it that you wouldn't get with some other types of games. So, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So if you want to, if you're interested in Civ, or if you've never played Civ but you want to kind of figure out what it's like, then you can come to my channel when I'm streaming it and watch.
That's a shameless plug, though.
Subtle plug. Or at the very least, 5 is where to start, in your opinion.
Yeah, and it's usually in Steam sales and stuff.
Oh, if you're really
usually really slashed at Steam sales.
I don't think it's on sale at the moment. I think it's still 20 quid or something. But
I think you can get the whole lot of
everything
in the whole thing for 16 quid or something.
Yeah, I think you can get the whole lot when it's on sale. It's usually £5 for everything. In fact, I think I picked it up for £2.50 once. For the whole lot for a friend I picked up.
Yeah, so but at the moment it is 16.66 to buy as everything. So
that's not too bad.
Not bad. Not too bad really for the amount of DLC and stuff it's got as well.
Yeah.
Plus, right.
If you're not good with geography and place names and stuff, it can teach you a little bit about history and geography as well.
There you go. Animaniacs did that for me for the geography at the very least. I still almost remember the song. Pip. What did you play? Something.
I also played an old thing, but actually it was a new thing. I've been playing Sonic Mania. Lots of people are surprised because I very openly dislike Sonic games a great deal. I have quite openly said that Sonic games are among the worst retro games available to people to try. In particular the 3D ones, but I'm also not a fan of the 2D ones. I've never ever liked Sonic games. I cannot put Sonic Mania down. I cannot put it down. It is the best Sonic game I have ever played. Hands down. The changes that they've made to the old stages work 150%. The new stages are gorgeous and they're clever. The game rewards you for exploring as well as going fast. So for me, who is like, this is a big map, I should be looking at everything, there is stuff for me to find. I will say that the bonus stages that they've put in, they're naff. Just fail those immediately.
It's always been naff.
Yeah,
so.
You don't need those. It's cool to find them. You don't need them. Fail them immediately. They're trash.
Well, they're just there for completionist sake than anything else, I think, really, aren't they?
But if you are gonna play it, honestly, do yourself a favor and don't look up what the new levels are like. Do yourself a huge favor because my friend Joe and I have been messaging each other constantly. As I come along a new level, I'm like, Joe, I'm doing a lottery, Joe, where I've paused the game to tell him that I'm doing this exciting thing, and then I go back to doing the exciting thing, and then another exciting thing happens, or I find something, or there's a particular boss fight, and I won't spoil it for people, but there is a particular boss fight that is so clever, and it made me laugh. Like, it genuinely made me fall about laughing because I understood it, and I took it down to Steve, and I'm like, Steve, you understand Sonic. Play through to this boss fight, and he plays through to the boss fight, and he gets it. I messaged Joe, and Joe was like, oh, I know, right? They've put some real clever additions in. The boss fights are good. They're clever. I haven't come across a bad, not clever boss fight yet. They've really done a good job with taking these old mechanics and making them not only accessible, but they've used them in clever ways to make the game more engaging.
Yeah, I mean, historically, like the original games, the boss fights were pretty arbitrary, really. Just boop them on the round bit, and then wait until you can boop them on the round bit again.
Well, this is exactly the same. You know, Sonic goes fast as a loop-de-loop, boops the Eggman, and wins the game. And that's how Sonic works, and that's how each one of these level works. You go fast, you do the loop-de-loop, you boop the Eggman, and whatever. Yes.
Why is he now Eggman? Why is he not Dr. Robotnik anymore?
Okay.
Because that's Dr. Robotnik is a much cooler name than.
Yeah, but he's not supposed to be cool. He's an enemy.
But it doesn't matter. Like Dr. Robotnik sounds like a good enemy name.
There's a whole thing with the name.
Sounds good. Why did they change it? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand it. I don't understand where the change came from. I don't get it. But he's Eggman to me right now. So we're booping the Eggman. I'm really sorry for you guys who I've just upset.
I just think
I'm going to Google this whilst you continue.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to find out why.
As I say, the game follows the similar premise. You know, you can run fast, do the loop-de-loop. Boop Dr. Robotnik. Is that better?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, you do the loop-de-loop, boop Dr. Robotnik, and repeat. But the booping of Dr. Robotnik is clever, and each boss is slightly clever in a different way. Like, there's a boss where you have to utilize the weather in order to boop Robotnik. There's a boss fight, like, where you have to use motorcycle missiles in order to boop Robotnik. And it's kinda cool. Like, it's actually cool, and I appreciate it. I like it. It's good. It's good. It's keeping me hooked, and as I say, I don't like Sonic games. They move too fast for my eyes. They're boring, and they're too difficult, and they move too fast for my eyes. I am enjoying the hell out of this. I really am. I'm not great at it, by any stretch. But I am enjoying what I'm playing. So yeah, my my recommendation is get it on the Switch. Honestly, if you have one.
Why not?
Which is the main problem that most people have at the moment. Is
that's what I'm suffering from. So basically, apparently, Eggman is basically his nickname.
It's what he's referred to in Japan, according to Steve.
Ish. So what I'm reading is, like he used to be called Dr. Robotnik in early games.
Right.
Yes.
And it's just kind of fallen by the wayside, and he's just known by his nickname Eggman because it's also taken after his shape. Because he looks like an egg.
But he always used robots and robotics and stuff like that for his things, which makes sense to be called Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's the logic.
Much cooler villain name than Eggman.
All right. Sonic goes fast, does the loop-de-loop, collects the rings and the emeralds, burps Dr. Robotnik, saves the animals. Is that better?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Works for me.
Okay, but yeah, definitely. And it's cheap. It's good value for the price that you pay. It's got a good amount of content in for the £16 that you'd pay for it. Good amount of content for the £16 you pay for it. If nothing else, because you can play it as Sonic and Tails, or you can play it as Sonic, or as Tails, or as Knuckles, and there's a load of stuff to find.
Is it just me? Right? Is it just me, or does anyone else feel like this is kind of wrong, though? That it's Sonic on a Nintendo machine?
It's only because I have no problem with it, because I'm just really used to Sega being a publishing house now and nothing more.
Oh, right, okay. Because when I was a kid, it was always like you were either a Sega boy or you were a Nintendo boy, and that was it. That was all you could be. You either were one or the other, and you couldn't be both. And you couldn't have Sonic and Mario in the same game or on the same system, because that would be sacrilege. So it's still a bit weird for me to go, buying a Nintendo machine to play a Sonic game is just a bit like,
I get you, but like, you know, since Sega has like published stuff like Total War, Warhammer, and just really bizarre stuff like that, which is just completely so outside the scope of the original Sega machine, I no longer view them as like it's console.
When it comes to Sonic, though, it's just always like.
Yeah, Sonic is Sega, isn't it, really?
I remember working at Game and somebody coming in one day and going, my son has an Xbox 360 and he wants the Zeldas and the Marios. Find them, please. and every part of me went, where do I start?
You need to find yourself a different shaped box for starters.
Well,
and
that's going to cost you a good £300, I'm afraid. And it was he has an Xbox 360. I've bought him enough console. Now he wants the Zelda and the Marios. And that's one of my favorite memories of all time ever. This woman with a pram trying to climb across the counter at me because Zelda and Mario are not on the 360.
Oh, you need to chop.
Yeah, apparently we need to make more of them in the back.
You need to port it.
Yeah.
Yes, the Olympic Games thing that they did was that on the Wii?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I was just like, what is this sacrilege? This is not right.
Like two men laying with each other. It's just not.
Oh Christ! It's starting again.
Holding hands.
Quickly! All people do is hold hands. All right. Let's talk about things that are not so good and why they happen, because I don't want to talk about people holding hands with you two ever. It's not a thing I want to discuss with two of my closest friends. I don't need to think about you guys like that.
Wait, what?
So why are early access game price hikes happening right now? Because we're seeing a bunch of them.
It's a trend, and it can fuck off.
Okay, so we need to talk about video games. I'm really glad. Please continue to do so.
Do you want to give me some examples? Because this was on the.
Yeah, you got Ark, and you got We Happy Few now as well.
Right. Well, we've already discussed We Happy
Few, and
I'm pretty sure. Didn't you talk about Ark Was it last week or the week before?
Right, but we don't understand why it's happening.
Well, it's only happened twice, and we've already said about the fact that We Happy Few are putting in a ton of extra content to make it worth.
Price go up?
Uh.
And does this now pave the way for other people to take their games out of early access and be like, okay, well, now it's worth X amount instead?
Well, why shouldn't they do that? If that's their game, that's their, that's their right to do that.
If presumably they've got a scrap of sense, they would know it's fucking stupid to do so. Like, because it will look bad. It will piss off your player base, new and old, and it will be restrictive to sales in the future as an overall number, which volume may in fact beat out individual price.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
You know what I mean? Like 1,000 sales at a tenner are better than 100 sales at 20. Like that's, just the maths of the situation.
Yeah. And
what I feel is there's a lot of kind of I can see it becoming a case of chasing AAA pricing without AAA content. Ark is AAA priced. Ark is not a AAA game, and it isn't to the quality of a AAA game.
The other one that did it, interestingly, thinking about it, is Tabletop Sim.
Did they increase price?
Tabletop Sim did.
Why? Do you know?
I don't know what it was originally. It went up to $20 from what it... Oh, no, I'm lying to you. No, it didn't. It was always $20. That's my bad.
I was going to say that. I was unaware of that one.
See, with Ark, I mean, I'm looking at it on Steam. It's still saying it's early access.
Yeah, because
it is.
In preparation.
50 quid is actually a lot more than quite a lot of AAA games.
Yeah.
And don't forget, there's an expansion in there as well you have to pick up.
Yeah, so there's an expansion which is another £15 on top. So you're talking at like 65 quid.
So, but the thing is, I feel they're kind of paving the way because they're known to be a success of early access and an indie success. You
say that the recent user reviews are mixed
because of the pricing.
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying this could be setting a trend. In the last 30 days, there's been 3,561 user reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them are saying not recommended.
Yeah.
Well, as I say, it's fairly mixed, but a lot of them, I think it's 58% positive. So that's a lot of negative reviews.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just saying, they haven't optimized the game. They haven't fixed any of the bugs that were in the game and have been in the game for a long time. And they're still charging $60 US, which is $60 US is not the same as 50 UK pounds, I don't think, but whatever.
No.
Well, no, but we always get fucked in the.
Yeah, I mean, we're not Australia fucked, but we are.
No, but we're fucked. Pretty.
Yeah, and so yeah,
$60 is £46.80.
Yeah,
we always get dicks.
So yeah, I don't think the thing is like, I've got stuff on my wish list that I know I'm probably going to enjoy playing when it comes out, like and some of those games are that sort of price. So let me just have a quick look on my Steam list, on my Steam wish list, because I know there's some stuff on there that's really expensive. So Assassin's Creed Origins, you can pre-order that. It's £45. So this is actually cheaper than Ark. Same as Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Warlands, Far Cry 5, Wolfenstein 2, South Park Fractured Butthole. These are all games that
40, isn't it?
That's 40 quid, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you've got these games that are proper AAA games, and Again, some of them aren't out yet, I know, but they're all less than what Ark is.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, Ark still has a whole bunch of problems with optimization and bugs. So why would anyone spend money on that game when it's clearly still not finished?
No. And it's already a year overdue on its early access, by the way. They were coming out of early access last summer. They made that pledge when they first came out. And in the meanwhile, they've come out a year later, or are coming out a year later from early access, and have thrown in a DLC for an additional cost because they're thunder cunts.
I think they're going to see a lot of player fall off.
No, the problem is, and I think this is a real problem, is they're probably going to get away with it because they're releasing it on PS4, and PS4 players, which has never had it before. PS4 players are going to have heard all of the wonderful stories of their friends playing Ark and whatever else, and the positive thoughts just kind of hang around, and they're going to go, it's available now.
Again, from working in a shop full of lads, right? The amount of lads who were like, hey, game's got dinosaurs! I want to play a game with dinosaurs in it!
Mm-hmm.
And that was before the Little Uns came in.
At least Dino Crisis was fucking good. Like
Dino Crisis was always good.
Or Turok. Turok was great.
Yeah, Turok was always great. Like, I don't understand Ark's price hike, because to me it doesn't seem like they've done anything major in between kind of the price that they were selling it at and, you know, having the expansion at, and then this version that's being released. I don't see much of a difference.
I don't see how you can warrant releasing DLC.
No.
When the game is still in early access. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's really bullshit. The thing that they did that upset me was that if you were a new player at Christmas, the game was, you couldn't do anything with it unless you had people to help you. They basically coated the land in snow, right? Which made it cold. Unless you already had the recipes for gear for cold weather, the game would take you twice as long to get to the same point as anybody else on a regular thing.
Nice. So if you were a new player and you wanted to experience what it might be like, or if you got it in the Steam Winter Sale or something.
Yep, you got dicked over massively. So they had no kind of hold on it then. Again, this stupid thing with the DLC thing was horrendous. I don't understand in any way, shape or form how the hell you release DLC while you are still in early access.
Yeah, if the game isn't out, you shouldn't be releasing DLC.
So here's the thing, right? If they had given that DLC to existing players for free to say, thank you for being with us for early access and for helping us test all of the things and blah, 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 and then gone to the higher rate, including the DLC, as a package, and saying you get, you know, Ark plus the extra memes that come with the DLC, I could swallow that and just say, well, yeah, like you are getting the complete package by buying this, and that's all it is. And the people that, you know, were beta fucking testers for your game, because this is the other thing that like gets kind of swept aside, is you pay into early access to be a beta tester. Yeah. Back in the day, back when I were a lad, beta testers either got to play for free to beta test the game because you are providing a service to that company by beta testing it, and then providing, even if you're not providing reports, you're going to provide system information that's automatically going to be fed back to the developers anyway. Or you get something from the developer for having beta tested. You get in-game items to thank you for performing this service. Early access should not be a paid process. I have always disagreed with early access being a paid process. There are very occasional situations where you don't have enough funding to finish the game and you want input on that game, and that is the point where you go to Kickstarter and you raise money for the concept of the game and then make that game. I don't believe in early access, and I never have, and much less just bumping up prices arbitrarily once you come out of it. The price of the game is the price of the game. You haven't done anything extra to bring you to this point to suddenly mean that the game is worth more money. You are still made the same game. The same game that people who bought it on day one it's going to be the same for those people as the people that bought it after you've decided to hike your price.
I mean, did Rust change their pricing when they changed their game? Because what the game Rust is now is vastly different to what it was when it first started. Much better. I don't feel like that they changed the price very much.
It was about £10.
Yeah, it's still £15.
Yeah. There you go.
And they changed virtually the entire game at one point.
Yeah, well, they took out zombies completely, and
there you go. When it went on the store at $20. Well, it was on there on Thursday, November 27th, 2014, at $20, and it's dipped down to half price a bunch of times over the course of time.
Steam sales and stuff, yeah.
But other than that, it has been $20. Well, it's free a couple of times apparently as well, which I guess was probably a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably have some free weekends. I'm pretty sure. So the fact that that's the case for Rust, and obviously Rust is still in early access, but I don't understand why Ark have done this. Personally, I think it's silly. I think they may have shot themselves in the foot a little bit, and I think that they're gonna see that, at least on PC. I think they're going to see that hurt sales.
Yeah. But again, it's like I was saying with We Happy Few though. It costs them more money to put it on PS4, so charge more money on PS4. Yeah. But don't make it the same price on PC just because that's the price that you charge on another platform. That does not make sense. No. Also, the Arc price that you're seeing now is a crept down price. They brought it down a little. I forget how much. It was like £5 or £10 they brought it down by. But it was originally a little bit higher than that. And then like 2 days later, after everyone went, what the fuck are you doing? They brought it down a little bit, but still not that much. I want to say it was like a tenner. No, a fiver. A fiver they brought it down by. There you go. It was originally £55 and it went down to 50.
Right, which still isn't generous. Enough. Like that's still not enough. But yeah, again, I think these price hikes to compared to consoles is silly. If it costs you more to put on a platform, this whole thing of DLC before the game's even finished, that's scummy as hell. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. But if there is a difference in the build that you initially paid $30 for and the build that you can pay $60 for, and it is a substantial difference that validates that $60 price tag, yes, by all means. But can we not do this? We're early access! The game's now comparative for AAA titles because you guys polished it to hell. It's now $60. No, don't do that.
But it's not.
Exactly, it's not. So don't do that.
Not even close. And the thing is, like,
if it had been optimized and they had got rid of all or most of the bugs, then I could say, okay, well, they've obviously done a lot of work in getting it to a good standard. But people are still complaining that it's still not optimized. People that have been in early access for ages, before they put the price up, they're saying it's still not optimized and it's still buggy as hell. Yeah. Like Subnautica. I played Subnautica. I wouldn't recommend people buy Subnautica yet because it's still buggy as hell. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that anyone play Rust at the moment, or buy Rust if they haven't already got it, which most people in the world probably have by now. But again, that game is still buggy as hell.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the other thing with Ark specifically is they haven't added that fucking much. They've added a few new dinosaurs.
This is what I'm saying. if there's
The
not...
DLC is the only thing that added anything of substance to that game, and that's an additional charge. But they have not added anything other than balance changes and stability changes and tweaking this thing and adding in like a new recipe so you can make a new jaunty shirt. Like, it's all minimal, tiny changes. They're quality of life changes. They're not like, here's a new mountain we decided to throw in here because
Like,
fucking lol, why not a mountain?
We revamped the storyline so that you can
or
pick
here's
up
a new
quests
map.
from... Yeah, for sure. And again, like, it's the same. It was my defense when we were talking about We Happy Few, is they're putting in a lot of work to make the game worth that $60 price tag, and that's fine. If there is a difference, that staggering a difference between the $30 build and the $60 build, yes. Definitely, that's fine. If all you've done is plonk a couple of extra dinosaurs in...
Hey, here's a new spear.
Yeah, no, sorry. Not worth an extra.
You haven't
however
done
much
anything
it is.
to account for that money.
No, not at all. So yeah, this is naughty behavior. Please, like, don't let this.
But yeah, as like the original topic, because we've gone way off topic.
Yeah.
But the original topic was whether this is going to become a trend. I would hope that most other games that are in early access will look at what's happened with Ark and the amount of people it's pissed off, and go, we should probably not do that.
Yeah.
So this is how I view it. I think small indie, because this is the thing, these are smaller indie studios. The Ark Studio, Project Wildcard, are not the tiniest, but they're relatively small. They're indie-ish, or were before Ark, anyway. We Happy Few Studio is pretty indie. So what happens is these studios, after they've started to see a little bit of success, or they've really set out something that's a bit special and is a bit bigger than the typical scope for an indie game to come out with, gets picked up by a publisher of some description, like a small-sized publisher, like Reverb in the case of Ark, and was it Gearbox for We Happy Few, which is only just now, after it's been in early access, that they've been picked up. And then they start inflating things. They start, increasing the size of the scope of the game and whatever else beyond the point, or allowing for that increase in scope, rather. And increase of awareness and increase of potential buyers getting eyes on that game. And they start having more say and more sway in the decisions that they make about pricing and about availability and about platforms and about distribution of effort for developing different bits and pieces to go towards the game. Do they spend more time making a brand new map for the game, or do they spend more time trying to port it to another console that they can sell it on? And yes, they'd be done by different teams, but it's where the funds go to be able to develop it.
And that's just what the case is with Ark.
And I think that's going to be a bit of a trend, because those indie studios don't have the knowledge to what is the right thing to be able to do here. What direction should I go into? Is it going to be sensible me doing these increases? And all that they have as their sort of voice of reason is these publishers who really give a shit about squeezing as much money out of those individual games as humanly possible, because that's what they do. That's their job.
And No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but publishers' job is to throw a bit of money and a bit of expertise at a studio that does not have either of those things, and turn it into more money down the line. That's what a publisher does. So I can see it becoming a trend, because it'll fucking work. They've now, these are two games that are getting pushed onto an additional console they elsewise were not going to be on, and they will make sales on those consoles based off of from PC players.
But will it be at the cost of making sales on PC?
Probably.
Because I don't think they will be selling as many copies of Ark now that the price has gone up as they were when the price was...
Or as much as they could have done the original price if they'd maintained that price. But they've got a whole new fucking market now. They've got a market nearly as big as Steam.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have Arc before, then.
But who cares? It's now been catapulted into a quasi AAA size on a new platform when no one owns that game yet. But they've heard all about it because it's been around for so long on every game site, and every streamer's probably had a dabbling in it at some point in time. And it's now very much in the gamer sphere consciousness that this game exists and is kind of good at the very least. And now it's a AAA game on this console that is, as I say, has a player base the same size as Steam, more or less.
Yeah,
they've doubled the size of the market, and they've already got half the marketing done for them. And all it's taken them is to go, I'll give you $50,000 to go and get it ported.
Like, we'll see. I'm hoping that this isn't going to be a thing that takes off. But
I don't think it. I don't think.
I don't think with review bombing it can.
I think it can, because they're destroying one indie studio's reputation at a time. The next indie studio down the line is going to have a nice, squeaky, clean reputation to be destroyed all over again. Who gives a fuck?
Well,
Regardless.
yeah, but then hopefully, these indie studios will be like, okay, well, let's not make that mistake. Hopefully, they will learn from this experience instead of going, hey, we could make lots of money too.
Hopefully.
We'll see. We'll see. I hope not, but yeah, the pessimist in me is always going to say that it's going to fucking go mad. But okay, yeah, I think that's probably time for us to round up for this week.
I think so.
Do we need to ask about what we're going to name the episode?
You all know what this episode's going to be. This episode's going to be 6 out of 10 Wank Stick Online. You guys all know that.
Yeah, it's Wank Stick Online. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. We've named it for you this week, chat. My bad. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry I peaked early this week. I'm deeply sorry.
God damn it.
It happens to you, then, don't worry.
Matt,
hello.
Tell these lovely people a little bit about you, where they can find you, and what you're going to be up to this week.
This week I will be streaming Monday, Wednesday, and...
Whoa.
No, just Monday and Wednesday. It's just Monday and Wednesday this week.
Part-timers.
Just Monday and Wednesday this week, because we're going to I-61 on Saturday, aren't we? Yeah! So me and Pip will be at I-61 on Saturday. So I'm not going to be streaming on Friday because we need to make sure that everything is...
You'll be here, won't you?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that these things... No, you're going to be fucking here pissing about over the
yeah, I'll be sorting Pip out and making sure that she's got all her stuff ready and
You're going to be sorting me out. Yeah, sure you are. You're going to be sleeping.
Or I'll be asleep.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah. Snoring my head. So yeah, I'll be
hibernate when you come round here thinking about it. Like it's quite disturbing.
So I'll be streaming Monday and Wednesday morning from sleeping and DMing. Yeah, I forgot about that. Monday and Wednesday morning from 9 till 12 UK time. We've already got a new Civ game going where we're playing as Gandhi.
Nukes at the ready then.
So no, we're not. Well, maybe it depends. But we've just eradicated Venice from existence. So Venice no longer exists.
Good. Yes.
So that's kind of fun.
Nukes at the ready, but I've eradicated an ancient city.
Yeah. So Venice. Well, the owner of Venice still exists. Like it's under my control. But like that was them out of the game. So we'll be continuing that on Monday morning and on Wednesday morning as well. We'll be doing that, and then I'm putting the VODs are on my YouTube as well. So I'm sort of slowly exporting VODs onto YouTube. Although all the Civilization ones are getting copyright strikes on because of all the music in them, which is fun. And then I don't know. We might play some more stuff when we get back from I-61. We'll see what happens.
Maybe you'll find stuff at I-61 that you'll want to play.
Right?
Maybe. That's always a possibility. There's lots of games that we saw at Res that I still want to play, but they're just not out yet.
Always the trouble of
both of those are still kind of like, when are they coming out? And Adventure Pals, because Adventure Pals looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
A mega aquarium.
Mega aquarium.
So yeah, there's lots of games that hopefully we'll get our hands on. Maybe.
Where should we follow you on Twitter to get all your tweets about I-61?
It's next to your head. It's other side. Other side.
There's
Keep
not
going.
images on fucking audio-only versions, Matthew.
It's there. It's up there.
Good job. Now tell the people for you iTunes.
At Matt_Sparks80. And
Blood out of a fucking stone. It's like there's audio only.
And of course, if people do want to catch a stream, it's twitch.tv/Matt Sparks. Yes?
Yeah, it's just Matt Sparks, all one word. It's easy to remember because that's my name.
Excellent news. Sam, what are you doing this week other than babysitting me?
That's pretty much
Cool.
the
What am I doing this week? No, go on.
No, I was going to say, I'll probably stream after this, and then tomorrow, and then sporadically through the week, as I tend to do. And that'll be about it.
Wonderful news.
I have no idea what times, when, who, what, where, why, how. I've got. I need to play Observer. I've seen loads of people playing Observer. I'm waiting until everyone stopped playing Observer so I can be a hipster prick and play it then. Yeah. Because that's what I'm doing. I've also got West of Loathing, which is made by the same people that made the Kingdom of Loathing game, which was like that browser game that I played when I was like 13. So I need to play that as well at some point in time. Plus, I'm doing a GTA 5 playthrough since last podcast because I talked about the story of GTA 5 being really good. So I've actually started playing that. And Twitch is mental, by the way. I've gotten about 1,000 follows for playing GTA 5 in space of about a week and a half. So that's pretty good. And yeah, that's about it. Pip, what you doing?
So my plans this week are really awkward because I've got to drive all the way to London to go all the way to I-61 because otherwise I won't make it. And I've just been invited to a new pole school, so I've got a lot of planning to do regarding that, which is freaking like blowing my mind endlessly. But streams continue on Monday. We've got normal stream on Monday, and then Talavera. I leave. No streams on Monday. Just Talavera on Monday. Streams are on. No Talavera on Monday? Oh, that's the first I'm hearing of that. Okay. No Talavera on Monday.
I said we were leaving on the Tuesday.
You didn't.
Unless we're going to do
Thursday.
What? No, we're leaving to get there to Sam's on Thursday. We're coming back on the Tuesday.
Yeah, that's fine. No stream on the Monday. You guys are going to see some card-based content from me over on Instagram and on Twitter, and then we'll do Talavera in the evening. Tuesday stream is normal, Wednesday stream is normal, Thursday I've got to drive all the way out there because of course I do. Friday you might see content, you might not. It depends if I want to sleep because I can finally have a small break. I won't. You'll probably see some kind of content from me. No Neon Scream. Saturday I'll be at I-61 with PC Specialist and Corsair, and it's going to be a nightmare. Basically, twitch.tv/tinypixels and twitter.com/tinypixels. That's where you guys want to be, because I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I have him. He organizes me. I don't know. He is trying to tell me that I'm leaving on Tuesday, when in fact or that I'm streaming on Monday, and I'm not. I have plans. I'm taking a small break to play card games and have food with some RL people.
And play D&D.
And then play D&D, yes. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Thank you guys for joining us on the podcast. Please go follow the wonderful twitch.tv/Matt Sparks. He is now affiliated, so you can go boop his button if that's the thing that you guys want to do. I'm super tired. I'm working on the emote, but again, like I'm super tired because we're pushing super hard right now. So we'll get on that.
There'll be an emote soon.
There will be an emote soon. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you follow Matt Sparks. Make sure you follow this channel for more of this nonsense every week. Not one of these this week. Not one of these next week.
No, I'm going to struggle through and do it on my own. I don't need you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There is one of these next week at 5 p.m.
We have Agonize. I've actually got guests lined up and everything. I'm going to inform you. We've got the wonderful Agonized, and the artist previously known as Fadian Jun, who's just changed his name to Furious Faye, I believe, on Twitch.
Yes.
Wonderful and lovely, and you should get to know him. Well, so is Chris for that matter as well. But
Chris is
I feel like some of you guys may know Chris, Agonized, but you might not know Faye, and Faye's wonderful people too. So that'll be next week with just me, no Pip.
Awesome news. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. He'll catch you next week. I'll pop in and say hi if I can. I love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting us again.
Patreon too, guys.